meeting to order. In accordance with the open meeting law, the board states for the record that this meeting is being recorded by NORCAM and may be recorded by other local media. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business is to recognize that Deputy Fire Chief Barry Galvin, who just retired at the beginning of the month after an illustrious career, 31 years of service here to the town of North Reading and close to 40 years of public service. I know Barry served in other communities prior to North Reading here as a full-time firefighter, but nearly 40 years of service to the fire prevention industry here. And he served with distinction here. Obviously, the last 14 years, he served as the Deputy Fire Chief and guided this department through a lot of different changes here. And again, while our staffing maybe was pretty static for about 60 years, what we've seen is a significant amount of growth now coming about, and again, no small part to Barry's advocacy as deputy, but also over the years as a union representative. I know for a fact, that he has been advocating for more staffing, higher safety standards for our firefighters, and was a very strong advocate for his fellow firefighters as a union advocate, union steward and officer. But as deputy, Barry took a great deal of personal pride in ensuring that he was up to date, well educated, and the rules, regulations, laws that affect every single one of us. Again, we sleep well at night because these firefighters are there 24/7 for us. And we know that, and they respond to the call. And when we talk about responding to the call, I don't know that there's anybody on the department that has responded as you have, Barry, over the years. You have been here 24/7 for 31 years. And that being said, is a great personal sacrifice, but also sacrifice for your family. So Laurie Ann and your daughters and Mr. Wilson, is it, that I got to meet the other day? Mr. Wilson, we're extremely grateful, not just for your service, but for their sacrifice that they've made to allow you to serve this community so well and so distinctively. And I know Mr. Wilson is already enjoying your company on a more regular basis. But when I go back to, the fact that you've kept yourself educated and passed that on through the department, down to the other firefighters, your colleagues here, the chief, and prior chiefs and prior colleagues along the way, has been instrumental in ensuring that we have our department, our community, up to code, up to standards, that not every community can say. And again, you should take great pride in knowing that we appreciate what you have done for this community. So again, what I'd like to right now just call on Chief Stats to say a few words in relation to what you've provided for the department for himself personally, and having been a colleague of yours for a number of years. I'll have the Chief just say a few words, and then we'll.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. O'Leary. From my point of view, something I've already told the deputy. Our paths were intertwined. Well, before I started with the North Reading Fire Department, Barry's been a co-worker of mine and somebody that I've looked up to for many years, and I certainly appreciate all his guidance and support along the way. So from being appointed in December of 1993 to his recent retirement, pretty sad to see him go. So thank you for all your service. Thank you for your family and their support, sharing Barry with us, and the guidance and leadership you showed the department along the way. So thank you very much.
And Barry and Laurie and his family, he's the only guy I know that's retired and isn't downsizing. I mean, he's taken on a project here that I guess is taking on a life of its own, and you're saying, what's going on here? But really what it is he's creating a utopia for himself and his family. Here, staying in North Reading, and which is a good thing for us. And we wish you nothing but best of luck with that endeavor, because I know it's still ongoing. But, you know, you've answered the call, and now you're calling it a day. You've earned it. I didn't recognize you when you came in because you're in your civilian clothes here. For all these years, you always had the uniform on. And I hope that the transition so far has been acceptable, you know, and pretty good. But with that, I'll open up to my colleagues as far as any comments you'd like to make and appreciation for Barry's service. Mr. Waller?
Just briefly, you know, congratulations on your retirement. When it comes to fire prevention, we'll never know how many lives were saved, and I'm sure it was more than one. So thank you for spearheading that and making that an agenda for the fire department. And there's people in town whose lives are here because of the work you've done. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Warren?
I just want to second what Chairman O'Leary had said, and thank you for your service. It's an illustrious career. It's hard to fathom someone working in the same department and working tirelessly to improve the quality of life for the whole community, and it's unbelievable. Congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for your service.
Mr. Studo?
So through, I got to know a lot about the fire department through the budget process, but I know that with all the challenges we've had, not having, you know, would be considered like fully staffed shift with the callback system, I know that without leadership at the top, that doesn't work. It just can't, right? Because it's a brilliant kind of core study on management. And that's really what it is. So, you know, without knowing anything else, if I just knew that, I know that whatever you've done for so long, it's worked. And it's not easy. And I know that, you know, those chief stats can't do it alone, and I know you got great people, there were great people under you as well. So that's, I learned a lot about you just through that, even though you weren't in the room when I was having these conversations. So, no, thank you, congratulations. I know it's sometimes bittersweet to walk away from something you love. You know, based in my business, I see a lot of people retire, and then 6 months later they come in and they're like, I try to get my old job back, they already, you know, they throw me out. So, well, enjoy. I don't know what this project is. Try to relax. It's easier said than done if you've always had something to do to go from 100 to 0, but you know, well deserved. Well, thank you.
Mr. Massey?
Deputy Chief, thank you very much. Congratulations. 31 years? Congratulations, that's amazing. There is, I echo all the comments said before me. I don't think there's anything we could say up here to really describe what you've meant to the community. So you and your family's sacrificed a lot for your time too. So we thank them too. It's pretty amazing. But I hope you golf. I hope you're going to be golfing a little bit. I hope to see you at the groundbreaking of a potential new fire station, and we'll definitely keep in touch. So thank you.
You know, we talk about fire service and all this, but, you know, a big part of what the department does here is, of course, is ambulance service. And Barry played a significant role again getting the ALS certification and everything else that goes along with that, which allowed us again to afford excellent ambulance services and afford to hire people with expertise and help train them, keep them educated. And again, it's no small feat to Mr. Studo's part to try and manage all this, and Barry's been an integral part of that all the way along the way. So with that, Barry, if you'd like to say a couple of words, and that you're more than welcome, and then we have a little presentation for you. I know you're shy.
Stand here?
Yeah, do you want to use the mic?
You want to come forward?
Yeah, just come forward. We'll embarrass you a little bit more.
Full attention.
And by the way, they had a wonderful gathering for you about 2 weeks ago down at the fire station. And you had firefighters from all over the region coming in and wishing you well. And again, it just showed the outpouring of support and the relationships that you've built over the years with other departments. And it was evident. And the pizza was good too, coming off the back of that fire truck from Revere. So, go ahead, Barry.
Well, thanks for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. It's nice to listen to some kind words and kind of reflect back and say, you know, it was a pretty good career. And I think that you guys have, you know, supported the department moving forward, which was long awaited, and with an increase in manpower. And I think that's going to go a long way to make the community safer and, you know, covered. We're getting a lot of back-to-back calls, so we need to approve for that second call.
Someone just got a call.
Yeah.
But he's just got a call as we're speaking, so.
So, you know, the guys are a great bunch down there. I really enjoyed every one of them, even the ones that didn't like me. And, you know, a couple of committees I served on with the selectmen successfully, with, like you mentioned, the ALS committee and also the fire management study committee. You know, maybe some of the folks up here don't know. You know, you reminded me of a comment that Claude Messeri made once at an ALS meeting where I got a little passionate. He just called me, he said, Barry's very passionate. So I'm glad that I came across that way. But again, thank you, and thank Chief Stats, and you know, I look forward to watching what happens in the future with the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Barry, don't get too far back there, because we have a little presentation if the board members want to come up, and then your family members too. Just a small token of our appreciation and something else to hang in your wall. As it just reminds you.
I think I got a big wall.
I think you have a big wall, that's right, much bigger wall. Anyways, it presented to Deputy Chief Barry J. Galvin, retired September 30th, 2025, for over 31 years of dedicated service to the North Reading Fire Department, given by the Select Board on behalf of a grateful community. And again, you can't let her retire. And now that you're on a fixed income. Here, here. But again, Laurie and Donis, thank you very much for sharing Barry with us. And we really appreciate it, and we appreciate your service, and we wish you a long, healthy retirement, and you're getting out at the right time, for all the right reasons. Good for you. Congratulations. Picture with your family up here too, Barry? Yeah. Yeah, what do we say? Next day. He didn't bring the dog, he didn't bring the songs.
No. It's on camera.
He's on camera? Good, all right, thank you very much.
Marianne doesn't either right now.
Yeah. Deputy, thank you.
I recognized you the other day. That's that guy. You had a hat on.
Yeah.
Where were we?
That's right, yeah.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yes.
Chief, thank you.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks very much.
All right, Mr. Pearson, members of the Planning Commission, if you want to. You're up. So, Mr. Chairman Pierce, thank you.
Yep.
Members of the Planning Commission for meeting with us tonight to fill the unexpired term created by the resignation of Max Murphy. And again, we appreciate Mr. Murphy's service to the community, but he's had a higher calling, it appears, and he's gone off to get a degree in divinity. And
Yep.
we wish him nothing but success. We appreciate his service, but it does create a vacancy for us on the Planning Commission, and the charter calls for a joint meeting between the Select Board and the Community Planning Commission to jointly make an appointment for the unexpired term. And the individual who is appointed again will have to run again in May for the remainder of the term, and then, so not an easy task either, that we're asking people to do. But again, we have two very qualified candidates who have stepped forward for consideration, which we greatly appreciate. And what we'd like to do is just allow ourselves an opportunity to ask any questions of the candidates before we move to a vote. So again, if so Mr. Sheehan and Mr. McConnell, you want to sit over here? Can we move that? Or how do you want to?
Yeah, we can call one candidate at a time.
Okay, to be seated. Okay, all right. Mr. Sheehan, you want to come forward then? Into the hot seat? You've been here before.
Yes.
Yeah?
All too familiar.
Yeah, very familiar. So again, Itchy, why don't you just again reintroduce yourself and
My name's Edward Sheehan. I'm a resident in town for 14 years. I lived down Brassy Way in the Thompson Country Club. Was a member of the CPC for roughly 6 months or so, and enjoyed my time on it. I liked the opportunity to give back to the community, and when the opportunity presented itself again, I put my name in.
again, we appreciate your prior service on the commission and your willingness to step forward again for consideration. Mr. Chairman Pierce, if you want to start off questioning from some members of yourself or your board.
Well, I can see if my board, does my board have any questions?
I don't know.
Having, gone through this with Ed before, we're pretty familiar with him, with Kevin and his
Sorry.
positions on things.
Sorry, Warren, I can't
Warren,
hear
you
you.
can't, yeah.
I can't hear you, sorry. And the TV definitely can't hear you.
There's some previous questions that have been asked before, if you want to use them. I have option.
Okay. Well, can you hear me okay on this now?
That's better.
All right, thank you. Yes, since Ed was on the board before, we had a chance to question him quite a bit back then. But I suppose I have a few questions, interview questions that I can ask that would help the rest of the room get to know him a little more about it.
We have the same set of questions too, to work off of.
You do?
We do, so you
Okay.
pick and choose as you wish.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple of them, and some of them are important to me and the town as a whole as well. So, would you be willing to attend occasional online classes to learn more about the applicable laws and statutes related to planning to help familiarize yourself with your position?
Yes.
So again, the CPC routinely meets the first and third Tuesday of the month, depending on elections, et cetera. We also attend town meeting, which is twice a year on Monday evening, or more often if there's a special election. Making a commitment to attend our meetings is crucial, because without a quorum, our residents and developers must reschedule. In addition to attendance being important, notifying us if you cannot attend due to illness or other unforeseen circumstances is also important. Do you feel you can make this commitment?
Yes, I do. In fact, I did not miss a CPC meeting on my previous time on the board.
And I will say that prior to being elected to or being appointed to the board for that period of time, Ed did attend pretty regularly every meeting ahead of time. So when we did appoint him that last time, he was pretty much up to date on what we were doing. So there was pretty much a nice smooth start. So As you're aware, many zoning or zoning proposals are often controversial. Sometimes there is disagreement amongst land use boards and or the select board. How would you work to build consensus among the boards and the public for controversial zoning amendments?
I would do what I've done in the past. Speak with the residents involved, speak with the abutters regarding, if it's regarding a certain area or a certain property, and speak to other members of the board, just try and find common ground, so that when the decision is made, it's a unified decision.
And I will say that, again, having members that attend every meeting is crucial to the board, because when we're down to only 4 members, there occasionally, we have special permits which require 4 votes. And so if you're down to 4 people, or if only 3 people show up, our applicant has showed up with his engineers and all his people, and we're not able to make a decision because we have people that didn't show up. So we've been pretty good for a while now. When Ed came on, we've been having that problem, and it was a valuable addition because he came to the meeting, showed up with all of his paperwork ready to go. So, does anybody else really want to do a question or two? Okay.
No, as far as the questions go, I think that just working with Ed for the time that we did, I think he gets it. I think he gets it, understands that, you know, we made quorum every single meeting, which was really nice to have. When you're in the public spotlight, to make quorum is important for the town. So the commitment I saw there. But as far as these questions, I think that, you know, we went through this, these are the same questions that we went through before, and I think, yeah, if I, yeah, that's right, Warren. And I think a lot of this with Ed, you know, we overwhelmingly voted 7-1 the last time we appointed him, because I think he did a really good job with his presentation back then as well. So as far as any of these questions, I'm all set. I don't know if you guys.
No, I would just say, like, if we're all on the same theme here, what got him to the 7-1 is the last time we did this, which was about a year ago, we're in the same situation, and we have 3 candidates, and it became really clear who the top candidate was because of what he did, and also I'll say credit to also Bill, you did as well, is to show up once you knew the position's available. It's, you know, it's a big commitment to sit through, or endure is a better word for it, our meetings. And he did so, and both of them have done that, and I really hats off to both of them. But that's why I think he did have the 7-1 vote a year ago, is because he did just that, you know, and that's commendable and appreciated, because we all know how valuable our time is, everyone here, even the people behind us that show up and attend these select board meetings. It's really crucial to have people involved, and my hat's off to anyone that makes that commitment. So thank you, and thank you, Bill.
That's it. Members of the select board, any questions of Mr. Sheehan?
I've got just
Jonathan,
one
I'm sorry.
that's off script a little bit. Given Mr. Sheehan's experience on the board, and experience attending the meetings and getting involved, what do you see as ways that the board could change its processes or update things or be more involved as far as community engagement or just during the public hearings? How could we improve?
I mean, one, just get out into the community a little more, rather than just see people here when there's community events, go out, be present at them. The other thing is, you know, sometimes these meetings can get, lack of a better term, heated. Try and turn the temperature down a little bit. Don't make it as confrontational. I think there are some people that would like to attend or would like to come and speak that otherwise don't do that because they're afraid of, you know, blowback or pushback or negative repercussions, you know, online or on social media or whatever. So I think maybe just turn the temperature down a little bit too.
Select board members, questions of Mr. Sheehan? No. Mr. Massey?
No, just a few comments. Ed, thank you again for wanting to be a part of the Community Planning Commission. You've been here before. You have a lot of the same answers, which is good. You're staying consistent, which got you voted 7-1. Ed has shown a lot of dedication. He has, when we were interviewing him last year, one of the things he promised us was that he'd run again, and that was a big part of our decision and why we voted him. He came through on that promise and ran again. He spent a lot of time and money and effort to be back into that position, which I'm sure all of us can understand that what we've done, as well as the CPC. Mr. Cost certainly earned the position that he did from the voters, but during Ed's time, he certainly never missed a meeting. He received over 1,000 votes as well from the residents, so to me, he has support from this community that want him in this position. Now again, Mr. Cost earned that position, but there's still a liking to Mr. Sheehan in the community for all the efforts that he did. So, and I know he had a great relationship, I could tell from watching the meetings with this board too, so you expect that that would continue. So, appreciate it.
Mrs. Moore, any questions?
Just to confirm, you do plan on running again in May, do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
Promise?
Good question.
Pinky promise?
Yes.
Vicky?
Mr. Wallen, you all set?
All set.
Okay, chair's all set too. Ed, thank you very much,
Thank
appreciate it.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Bill, why don't you step up and introduce yourself?
Thank you for your time. My name is Bill Cannell, 479 Park Street. Been a resident of North Reading for a little over 5 years now. 2 little girls in the school system here, 9 and 11 at the middle school and middle school. Currently serving on the Parks and Rec Committee for almost 2 years now. When I heard that this position had opened up, the first thing my wife did as I was reading the paper texted me and saying, "You should go for this." As I was reading and saying, this looks interesting. So it felt right immediately. A vote of confidence from my wife, who I need in my corner in order to do something like this. That helped push me to attend the meetings ever since I decided to put my name in for this position. I believe I attended every CPC meeting. I may have missed one, but I think I did all. And ready to hit the ground running.
As far as your background,
I'm a licensed electrician by trade. I'm currently a chief building engineer in Boston at the Van Pier location in the seaport. So I maintain and operate over 1 million square feet of commercial office building and 23 acres of commercial office park, essentially the whole grounds of Van Pier. I'm in charge of the operations outside, so maintaining the streets, all publicly accessible parcels, roadways, restrooms, parking spots. We just did a project where we had to upgrade all the line striping throughout the property. Going on 10 years there at that particular location. I'm involved in a group called BOMA, Building Owners Management Operations Association. It's for engineers and property managers alike to get together and discuss the ongoings of property management and what updates, code updates, laws are being issued, and deal with the Boston Fire Department on a consistent basis. So there's a lot going on there.
there is a lot going on down there. So, Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Would you be able to do things like attend classes and everything occasionally?
Absolutely. My job currently requires that I take monthly online classes, and some of my certifications require that I attend either in person or online classes in order to maintain my certifications.
And you see no problem, it seems, attending the meetings on a regular basis?
Not at all.
Okay. I'll ask you the same question about many zoning and rezoning proposals are controversial. Sometimes there is disagreement among the land use boards and our select board. How would you work to build consensus among the boards and the public for a controversial zoning amendment?
I mean, I think to echo Mr. Sheehan's words, you have to get out there, you have to talk to the people that are affected by these. That's first and foremost what's important. Who is going to be most affected by the decisions that we make, and what's best for the town. And look through all the laws, bylaws, zoning laws, and kind of figure out where everything fits, and make the best decision for everyone involved.
Thank you. If you do get appointed, are you be willing to run for the position?
Yes.
All right. It sounds like you have a lot of skills that kind of dovetail with what we're doing on the planning board. How do you think your skill set fits in with what the planning board does, since you've gone to enough meetings and now to see what we battle with?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten a lot of good insight in those meetings that I've been to. While my job doesn't directly involve me knowing the zoning laws, I do have a nice general understanding of how property works, how property lines work, and just overall construction background. Currently dealing with the construction of a new building that is connected to my building, and how the systems work, and how everything has to connect, and how your neighbors are affected by what's going on next door, and how all that goes down. So I feel like it'll be a smooth transition into this phase.
Anybody else, we want to look at these, see if you have a question?
I have a question, but you can go first, Joe.
I'm okay right now. You can go, Dave.
I'm more personal too, Bill. So where did you live before, if you don't mind asking? Because it's only 5 years, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Lynn.
Okay.
Moved around a little bit, for a period of time. But then met my wife, and we purchased a home in Lynn and settled down. And then we got into the public school system, or we were supposed to get into the public school system, and just heard bad things. My sister her daughter was in the school system a year ahead of my daughter, and she was going to be following right in her footsteps. And it was just horror stories of teachers and everything. So we started looking around. We always knew we were going to look. We were looking in the Reading, Wakefield area, and we went to the home in North Reading and fell in love with the town. It took us a few tries to get in. Kept getting outbid. We finally got lucky and settled in the Little School District, which was great. That big blue sign on the side of the building. That was the school. Where did it get there?
The little school.
Yeah.
They awarded the
one that
state.
gets from the
They got it from
Secretary
Governor
of
Baker, yeah.
Education. Was the award there. It's escaping me right now. That was a big selling point on the town, and we've loved it here. I never thought I was going to get into town politics. I was always one of those people who just kind of was like, that's not for me. I don't want to, I don't want to really get involved in that. And then I kind of saw how important it is to the town to do something. And getting into the Parks and Rec Committee I love it. It's a nice insight into the town. I'm also glad that I've had the opportunity to sit on that, because I know that the town master plan has a lot of stuff about preserving the parks and the betterment of the town, and Vincent River Park and everything. So I know that I've got a little running start on all that getting into this. Hopefully, all my experience can improve on it.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on that, so besides schools, which I 100% agree with, what else do you love about North Reading? And it just gets, what I'm asking for is get back to our whole purpose and plan, like what motivates you, what do you like about North Reading that you want to stay or change?
I've met a lot of nice people in town. There's a lot of room for improvement too, with you know, with the direction of the town when it comes to, you know, there's a lot of disagreements on things like the wastewater line, you know, obviously there's the tax override, and there's the MBTA zoning, and all that stuff, so seeing everybody's opinions on that, having opinions of my own, be nice to have a better way of doing something, doing something about it, you know. The town has, like I said, beautiful parks, beautiful, you know, public areas, and, you know, it'd be nice to be able to maybe spruce up 28, you know, get some stuff going down there. We could, you know, the retail of the town, try and get some more people here and draw some business into the town somehow. If there's a way of me being on this committee can, you know, this commission can help that, then I'd love to see where that goes.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Anything, Joe?
Dave managed to
That's so interesting.
steal my, not so much steal my questions, but expanding on answers to your questions, kind of handle what I had left, so.
Okay, Mr. O'Leary?
Jeff, you all set?
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Sure, okay. Board members? Mr. Massey?
Nice to meet you, Bill. I'm Nick. Terrific resume you have. Actually really cool. CBRE, Oxford, a lot of electrical experience, a lot of MEP experience. That's cool stuff. A couple questions for you. One is your biggest goal for your term. Was that Route 28? I think you answered it before. I was going to ask you.
I mean, that would be, yeah, I really haven't thought about, you know, having a goal in mind. I think right off the bat is to try and hit the ground running and absorb as much as I can, help where I can. But yeah, I think 28 is a big, you know, is a big thing that I hear a lot of people talking about. So I think that would be really nice to be able to help do something about that.
I can agree with you on that one. Second question for you is experience in public meetings or public law or open meeting law. Do you have any experience with that?
Not public per se. I have been a speaker on Roundtable, and I've hosted events for BOMA, the organization I mentioned. I've won Engineer of the Year in 2019, so I had to get up and talk in front of 600 people. And then the roundtables that I've been at, you know, a room 2 or 3 times this size, you know, maybe full of people discussing topics related to our field, such like that. But never necessarily a room full of public people, but I have spoken in front of large gatherings
Awesome.
in the past.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Bill.
All set? So, Mrs. Moran?
Nice.
In terms, you mentioned Route 28, and I think I'll agree that could use a lot. Do you have, what ideas do you have on what could, I mean, obviously wastewater is an issue. What could we do?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen lots of properties along that stretch of road that, you know, you wonder, you know, who owns them, what can we do with them? You know, some of them are just empty buildings, some of them are buildings, you know, businesses that have closed recently, or some that look like they're just vacant lots. And it would be nice to know if there's an opportunity at those locations. I don't currently know what opportunities are there, but I feel like this, you know, is a good way to find out and see what, if there's anything I can do to help.
Thank you.
Mr. Maloney?
I think that what you've seen at the CPC right now is a lot of the controversial items have gone away.
Yep.
And so I dare say it's almost routine, almost boring. Is that
Amen
when I
to
say
that, brother.
Come on,
So-
construction's never boring.
Well, it's a lot different than it was a year ago, that's for sure. You know, you've got to observe it. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I saw there was it's open, I think, my laptop, but I think we saw that, right? So I saw a business come in on a couple of meetings that was trying to get into the storage facility. They were going to take a few of the retail spaces take away from, the advice that was given to them, and then come back a few meetings later with a solution, and then they got the go-ahead to proceed to the next step. I thought that was really interesting to see, and just, listening to just some of the stuff that came out of that, talking about, septic requirements, and, how many parking spots are required for certain, businesses, just small stuff like that, just little things that you don't really tend to think about. Kind of pulled all that out of there. It's got an understanding of what's required of, what the position, what kind of thought process goes into it, and I'm glad I have an opportunity to sit in those meetings and really understand. From a day-to-day, I'm sure the big, larger projects are going to take a lot more time and thought.
Yeah.
So far, everything I've seen seems like you said routine, day-to-day ongoings of town business. So I think getting in now is a good opportunity to get a solid understanding of how the base responsibilities of the commission are supposed to go, so that when these bigger projects do pop up, kind of work up towards them.
Yeah. Makes sense. Thank you.
Mr. Studo.
I do have a question. So, since 28's been talked about so much, how would you balance the two sometimes competing goals of keeping North Reading charm, art, aesthetics, however you want to phrase it, with the fact that to accomplish most of our objectives, increase tax revenue through development in 28 is, pretty much the only way. I know there's a lot of experts on Facebook that think there's other ways, but I don't tend to listen to them.
Yeah. I've seen on Facebook there are people who say we need to increase the taxes on businesses in town in order to create the revenue needed to expand, the infrastructure in town. I'm not an expert in any of that. This is all relatively new to me. I believe there's an opportunity, and you kind of have to dig into it to figure out what the next step would be. Is it raising taxes on businesses?
Well, more of my question's
But
geared towards...
taxes wouldn't run on the CPC.
No, I understand.
But my question's more on, I think what the CPC deals a lot is if there was a large housing development proposed for 28, and I'm not saying there is, but more likely than not, it's going to come across your desk in one way, shape, or form, and you're probably going to hear from a lot of people who come in and say, my taxes are too high, but don't you dare put another body on 28. And I'm saying, how would you handle that? Because I think when it comes to, the select board gets a lot of pressure, but so does CPC when high octane items happen, and it just, I'm more curious how you would deal with these contradictory views.
I would listen to everybody's opinions. You have to understand where people are coming from. At the end of the day, this whole thing is for the betterment of the town. So we just got to kind of weigh the pros and cons, figure out what we think is going to be best for North Reading. It's not what's best for me. It's what's best for everyone. And just listen to everybody's opinions. Everybody's opinion matters. Everybody has a different situation. And just kind of weigh all the options and go the best route.
And one last question, I can't believe I only asked. Would you run again?
Yes.
Okay. Come on, I was waiting.
He already asked that.
I had, yes.
Yeah,
You did?
You were looking away, so
It's all
it's
right.
okay.
No, I'm out. No one can hear you. So to be fair.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, a lot of the questions that I may have had have been answered, but what I find refreshing is that you've willingly just said, I'm here to listen and learn, and should you be successful this evening, you've got some resources right here, and Danielle over there, who are going to be tremendous resources for you to learn and come up to speed quickly. And again, Mr. Pierce has been around as long as I have in relation to what town what it was, what it's become, and what we hope it to be. And it's not an easy task to Mr. Studo's point, you know. You have to tell people no sometimes. You know, you have to give them an answer that they don't want to hear. And so my only question to you is, how are you at delivering bad news, you know, to people?
I do it on a daily basis. You know, I have, in my line of work, I have tenants, and I have contractors, and I have people who want things they can't have. You know, people want me to run a building 24/7 to keep something cool for them, that it just doesn't work that way. And I have to go tell the tenant, hey, I can't do that for you, but I can do this, or this, or this. So I give people options if I can. And if there are no options, you just explain it to them as politely as you can, that this doesn't work for these reasons. Just be respectful. This bad news is something you have to deal with, you know, in any profession, any committee you're on. You always have to. There's always going to be an opportunity to say yes. And there's always going to be an opportunity to say no. You just have to make sure you have the right information available to you when you make a decision which way to go.
Mr. Chairman, any other questions from members of your board?
Looks like we're all set.
If I could, just one thing. So I'm just happy there are two people that put their names forward. I love that when people get involved. One thing I find interesting is when we went through this process before, like 8 months ago, I think it's healthy because we all talked about 28. We talked about it then too in the interview process before, and we know that's an issue and a problem. And I think it's great that we brought it up again because that's something that we always, I mean, almost every meeting we're bringing up privately or even out on the floor, we talk about 28. It does need help. So like I said, our interview process a year ago, when we had our 3 candidates, the same questions were pretty much asked. We all responded the same way. So it seemed like it was a generic cause. Doesn't it, Warren? Yeah.
Well, it's going to be, U-28 is a difficult thing because of the fact that there's no real ending to it, no beginning to it. It just sort of exists and then goes away on the other end. We don't have the luxury of having a town center like Andover does on one end and Reading has on the other end. So it makes drawing people to it or drawing businesses to it a little bit difficult, especially without sewer. And it makes it difficult to create the appearance of a town center or or a location where it could be used as such. So it's always going to be a problem till we solve something. And I think some of those solutions are coming along. I mean, we're looking at the way the road is done out there, and should we do some kind of sewer project, that would also be an opportune time to fix the roadway, maybe go to the 3-lane situation like they have in Reading. There's some things that could be done.
You guys should have a meeting about
I
it.
was going to say, put it on the agenda.
Yeah, we've kicked that around a little bit privately, I think a little bit, you know, in the past year or
Well,
so. We
I've
have.
also, there was some thoughts about putting a cul-de-sac, a rotary in the middle. That came from one of the consultants that we did.
Oh.
So I don't think that's, but it wouldn't be the rotary of the conventional kind, like you have on the Bourne Rotary or something. It would be like a mini rotary like they use for traffic calming.
Yeah, Beverly has 600 of them. It's terrible.
Yeah, they do.
And you could fit one of those, there's actually enough room to fit one of those according to the engineers. So that's
All
just
right.
one of the
So,
thoughts.
and again,
We're worried.
so we're all set? Jeff?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if there's no more questions from members of your board, no more questions from members of our board, if we're ready to, for a motion to place both names in nominations, then we'll do a roll call vote as to who we want, and see how they fall. All right? So, Mrs. Moran?
Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for appointment to the Community Planning Commission for a term to expire on May the 5th, 2026 annual town election. One opening, roll call with the names stated. William Cannell Jr. and Edward Sheehan.
Second. And Mr. Pierce's motion stands for your committee
Yes.
too, all right? All right, any, no other further discussion? We'll proceed to a roll call vote, the planning commission. You want to call your roll and I'll call
Okay.
it.
Okay, call, John?
My vote is for Mr. Cannell.
Okay, Dave?
Mr. Sheehan?
Mr. Sheehan?
Mr. Cannell? Yours.
All right, and Mr. Massey?
I'm gonna vote Ed Sheehan.
Sheehan. All right, and Mr. Studo?
Ed Sheehan.
Mrs. Moran?
Yes, William Cannell.
Mr. Wallner?
William Cannell.
And the chair votes William Cannell. And clerk, do you have them recorded? Mrs. Moran?
Yes, Mr. Rudloff, I'm sorry, I missed.
Mr. Sheehan? Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I have 4 votes for Mr. Sheehan.
No.
I'm sorry?
4, yeah.
4, and
8 of us?
There's nine.
Five
Nine
and
of
four
us.
is 9.
5 and 4 is 9. I know you're a numbers guy.
Not tonight, I'm not.
1, 2, 3. Mr. Chair, I have 4 votes for Mr. Sheehan, and I have 5 votes for Mr. Cannell.
All right, thank you very much. And again, I thank Mr. Sheehan and Mr. Cannell both for stepping forward. And Mr. Cannell, congratulations on your appointment. At some point, you're going to have to get sworn in by the town clerk. You can do that probably as soon as tomorrow morning.
Should be able to tomorrow, yes.
So as soon as tomorrow morning. And again, we appreciate both candidates putting their names forward for consideration, and we look forward to you serving with this board member and running for re-election in May.
Thank you very much.
So, thank
Appreciate
you.
the opportunity.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for coming. We good?
Very good.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you. Planning Commission, thank you again for making time to meet with us this evening. Next order of business. Let's see. It's not quite 8 o'clock, so maybe we can take care of this one here, number 6. Public notification, Harmonyvale Cemetery, Park Street Cemetery, Riverside Cemetery, Historic Grave Marker Cleaning. So, Mr. Gilberto, you want to just give us an update as to what's being proposed and what action we need to take?
Sure, so there isn't any action that the board is asked to take this evening, but we did want to put this on the agenda as a means for a public notification. It was brought up at a meeting in September that the Historical and Antiquarian Society would be embarking on a cleaning exercise for historic grave markers in the town's 3 cemeteries. There will be a public notification going in the newspaper on Thursday. We wanted to have an opportunity to make the public aware through this forum as well that the cleaning exercise done by volunteers and done consistent with practices outlined by the U.S. National Cemetery Administration will begin this Saturday, October 26th, with work being conducted by volunteers. Probably most importantly for any relative of an individual who may have a grave marked by a historic marker in the cemeteries, particularly the Park Street Cemetery, you are encouraged to notify the Department of Public Works at 978-357-5227 if you do not wish for your family member's grave to be cleaned in accordance with the standard that's provided. So again, didn't require a board vote, but this is something that's been in the works for, I believe, nearly a year. A great volunteer effort with folks coming forward to do this in conjunction with the DPW, but wanted to just get it out there one more time before the work began. So,
And
that's all.
again,
Thank
all
you.
of these volunteers are also going to be trained, appropriately trained, in order to treat them with respect and do it appropriately. Mrs. Moran?
I just wanted to,
What was the phone number? I'm so
Sure.
sorry to interrupt. The phone number for Park Street, the Park Street
DPW.
cleaning?
Sure. So if you have a family member with a grave marked at Park Street Cemetery, the number you can call is 978-357-5227. 5227, and we'd encourage folks to do that as soon as possible if they would not like the grave to be cleaned.
No, that's okay.
Again, these will not be repairs. This is not a repair exercise. This is simply basically removing growth that might be on there or discoloring, et cetera.
Mrs. Moran?
So I'm, as a liaison to Historic Commission, I'm actually volunteering as well. I think it'll be very interesting to go through this exercise. We do have an expert who's coming in, a conservation expert who's going to teach the volunteers on what to do and what not to do. The materials used for the cleaning of the stones are biological agents, so it's not like, we're not spraying them with Lysol. There are specific tools that have been all procured through donation or through fundraising. This is all done by volunteers, and the goal is to remove organic growth, which is mostly lichen, from the stones, make sure that the names are visible, and it's going to be a conservation effort. If there are any stones that are damaged, we're also going to document them and then come back to the town with any recommendations from any damages that have occurred. So we're going to start with the Park Cemetery and then move on to other historic locations in the town.
It's a wonderful undertaking that Historical and Antiquarian Society is taking on, and I know we've been talking with the DPW over the years, particularly on the older stones in the cemetery, as to what we can do to better maintain them and even repair at some point. So this will certainly enhance our ability to get an inventory of those that are in need of repair. But it's a great undertaking, and again, it's appreciated for sure.
Thanks for your volunteering.
Yes, I think it'll be very interesting. I really do enjoy historic preservation, which is why I decided to volunteer. It's starting at 1 o'clock. Hopefully the weather will hold. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Can we take a question from the public?
This is
Am I not supposed to do
I-
that? How are you able to volunteer if you get to?
how are you able to volunteer?
How are you able
Yeah.
to volunteer? So you
I-
can reach out to the Historic Commission and just,
Oh, okay.
no, that's okay.
Yeah.
We are looking for more volunteers. And it starts at 1 o'clock at the Park Street Cemetery.
Mrs. Moore,
It
through
was
you, Mr.
written up in
Chairman.
the
Yep.
transcript, and also, you can also go on the town
Yeah, I think
website
it was online.
and
It's
look
on
at
the-
it there too.
Right.
Yep. Mr.
I
Goodwin?
may have misstated the day. Is it Sunday, the 26th?
It's Sunday.
I
Yes,
think
it's
it's
the
a
Sunday,
Saturday.
1
Sorry
o'clock.
about that.
All right,
Sunday,
so-
the 26th,
So again, there was notification in the North Reading transcript and
Correct.
on our,
on the website.
on the website.
I
on the
believe so,
on
yes.
the
We're gonna
town
put it on town news
website.
as well.
So if anybody has an interest in volunteering moving forward, because this is going to be an ongoing exercise for a while.
Correct.
So as Mrs. Moran said, they are looking for more volunteers. So if any member of the public is interested in getting involved, please check the town website and, well, last week's transcripts. So,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
sure, would, Steve?
The plaques, the veteran plaques, are they gonna take care of those? Because I noticed like a lot of them are buried in the grass.
Yes, so any historic markers, historic being over 70 years old, will be cleaned. Anyone who has a living relative who wishes their markers not to be cleaned, we will omit those. And then any stone or marker that is damaged, no repairs will be attempted at this time, but we will document any damages. Sometimes a marker is tipped over and it can be restored, but if it's broken, that's a different level of restoration. So
Right.
we will document all of that, but not attempt any repairs. But-
Yeah, the bronze ones.
Yeah,
on the
no,
ground.
Right, so it will include veterans and historic markers.
So thank you, Mrs. Moran, for the update. And again, for those that are volunteering, thank them too for us. And for anybody who wants to get involved, please sign up.
I'll have an update at the next meeting.
Terrific. All right, so we're all set with that. No votes needed, but again, informational purposes for the board and the community. All right, next one, we have a 8 o'clock public hearing. Mrs. Moran, you have the notice for the 8 o'clock? We have an 8 and an 8:15.
Correct.
I do, yes. Town of North Reading notice of public hearing. In accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, a public hearing will be held by the Select Board on Monday, October 20th, 2025, at 8 p.m. in Room 14, Town Hall, 235 North Street, North Reading, Massachusetts, and via virtual technology, on the application of Devianche Inc., doing business as Christopher's Market, for the following amendment to its license. Change of license classification from malt and wine to all alcohol. License to be exercised at 2 Washington Street, North Reading, Massachusetts, in a 1-story building, no cellar, 1 room for selling, 1 for storage, back room for office and supplies. Do I have to read the rest of it?
What's that?
Do I need to read the hearing may be accessed virtually?
Only that it may be accessed.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
the
what you
hearing may be
said.
accessed virtually via the internet, or via the telephone.
Sure. Great. All right. Now, so we have the applicants present. All right, why don't you come up and have a seat at the table? Great. If you'd like to introduce yourselves and tell us what your plans are, and put your
Good evening. My name is Alex Bourgeois. I work at Democus Law Offices in Lynn, and I'm here representing the applicant, Devianche Inc. And here with me is Prashant Kumar Patel, who is the manager of record on the license, director, treasurer, and 50% shareholder of the applicant. We also have Bikabai Patel here, the other 50% owner, and we have some supporters here with us as well. The applicant is applying for a change of category on its liquor license from a wine and malt beverages license to an all-alcohol license. The applicant owns Christopher's Market, located at 2 Washington Street in North Reading, and has been operating there since 2017. The store has never had a violation. Changing the category in this license would serve the public need, as there are no all-alcohol licenses on that side of town. My client has already submitted a petition with over 300 signatures of locals who are in favor of the change of category license. To note, the store layout and concept will stay the same. They want to keep it 50% convenience and then add in a few aisles of liquor. And just have it be a one-stop shop concept, so people can get everything they need all in one store. They've spoken with their customers, and that's what they're looking for on that side of town. So in all, our client is just looking for a change in category license from a wine and malt beverage to an all-alcohol license. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? Anybody wish to be heard during the public hearing portion of this session? Sure. Name and address, please.
Oh, please. Charlene Crouch. And we would love to have a representation for Beyond Beer and Wine, only for the purposes of it's so convenient, and to have someone like Mr. Patel be the purveyor of such a license would benefit all of the community, not just the area of North Reading that's down that way. Because we would have to traverse all the way up to Route 28, which is, I don't know, a 3 or 5 mile ride. But we've grown up with Bosch. Our children have grown up with that Christopher's Market. And we would just love to have his representation for liquor.
Shelley, what was your address?
I live at PBD Court.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Mike?
Yeah.
Name and address, please. Yep.
114 Park Street, and I live 2 houses from there. The store is immaculate since Boss took it over. You know, he's good with the customers, you know. It'll be a good addition, you know, for his asset.
Thank you. Any other public input or comments? Anybody online, Mr. Gilberto?
A handful of chat comments coming in. A question from Zoom user: what is the difference between the former licensed stuff and the new thing? From Michelangelos Nicholas Saparlis, 2 Calders Lane, North Reading. So to clarify, The establishment currently has a license that allows it to sell beer and wine in conjunction with other products. They are seeking the available license to sell all alcohol for off-premise consumption. So going beyond to spirits and other alcoholic beverages, which they cannot sell with the current license right now. So hopefully that answered the question. Says thank you. One other comment also says cool. Question regarding somebody not being at the microphone from Maureen Doherty. I believe the applicant can be heard both through the microphone in the room and through NORCAM, right, Eddie?
Yeah.
Perhaps it was maybe the resident comment that was being asked. Oh, okay, so could not hear the comment. So there was a comment offered, and I'm sorry if you could restate your name.
Charlene?
Yeah.
Charlene Crouch, C-R-O-U-C-H.
So Charlene Crouch of Peabody Court indicated her support for a license to be, an all-alcoholic beverage license to be granted at the Christopher's Market location at the intersection of Park and Washington Streets. So I kind of summarized there, but I think that was the intent.
That's not to say I looked to visit the store daily.
And the other one was Michael Corelli.
Oh, and so I'm sorry,
Two doors down from Nan's, and almost directly across the street from the establishment. He spoke to the condition of the store being markedly better since the new ownership had taken over in 2017, and services the community well, and this would be a good addition.
And we'll just ask for anybody with further comment, they can come right to that chair there, and that way it'll be heard by folks who might not be in the room here.
So, no other comments online or questions?
I am not seeing any, no.
All right, very good. Board members, any questions, comments of the applicant at this particular time?
No, just, Mr. Chairman, just to reiterate my comments for the last time that Prashant was here, is that I agree with a lot of the consensus that to balance out what is on Route 28, and I know we mentioned 3 liquor stores last time, but there's actually a 4th, the one next to Lobster Claw. So there is 4 on Route 28, and from speaking with a lot of people that live on Elm Street or off Elm Street, outside of Vincenzo Studio, is that they would also really appreciate not having to traverse to Route 28 and have the option to have some liquor at Christopher's Market.
Mr. Studo?
So, one question I had, if you had this and then you change some things around, how would you handle, do you think there'd be any added risk to the, couple hundred kids that come there after school? Because again, now it's, I'm not saying there's already beer and wine, right? But as soon as it's full alcohol, it's, especially if you want to create more room, I don't know, kids do a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
Right.
So my name is Prashant Patel, and currently most of my alcohol beverages is in the back end, and I'm not trying to go full-on liquor store. Try to keep front end as a convenient, keep some groceries and community whatever they need, and then keep a back end. I don't know if we submitted the photo diagram.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. So on to the counter level, that's where I was trying to keep the hard liquor, bottle wise, and then the last 2 aisles, that's where I'm going to keep some wine and some mixed drinks and whatever customer needs. So back end, and then they do Amazon sell those gates that we could put up and say only 21 allowed, so we could close off those back end section, so only adult can go in.
No, I think that's a great idea. And again, just more because I know that.
And I'm there mostly 7 days. I work there, and I know mostly all the kids, and my 2 boys also go to school.
It's a zoo.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, I know.
I mean, I I needed ice.
And we
I-
always, 2 people in there.
Yeah.
Mostly happens in, Fridays and half
Yeah,
days. And we only allow selected groups to go, and that way we keep eye on where they're going, where they,
No, that was just more a
Yeah.
question that, I'm sure there was an idea.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more of just, it's, it's a pretty big presence.
And
So I know
especially I
that-
live in the community, so I know
Yeah.
mostly all the kids, and I could easily find out who their parents are, and,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. O'Leary.
Any other questions, comments from members of the board? Mrs. Martin?
I just have a comment. I live down the street and I regularly pop in for ice, and the store is very well run. It's very clean, it's immaculate. I think it would be a great addition because, as we've mentioned several times, there is no sale of alcohol, hard liquor or alcohol on that side of town. So I think it would serve community in general to grant this license.
Mr. Walner?
I'm just questioning, I think I was out of the meeting when you guys discussed this originally, but why is it, if we give it to one, we have to take it away from another? I don't understand.
We're not taking it away. There's one license available, and we have 2 applicants.
Okay.
So, and again, we don't have to, we can choose not to even issue it at this point too. In other words, we can hold on to it if the board, in its wisdom, determined to hold on to this license, we could. But we have an opportunity to issue it. We have 2 applicants for 1 license.
Has the other applicant approached the board?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the hearing is right after this one.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, the only concerns that I've heard expressed, again, is the amount of traffic from kids, coming in here. If you're going to be offering a full alcohol license, what are you going to be doing to ensure that, it's properly segregated and handled properly? And I think you've explained that
yeah.
sufficiently.
Most of the section, during that peak hour, the kids gonna be there all the time, and,
Again, that's the only feedback that I've gotten from anybody in the community. Obviously, we've gotten the petitions from a few weeks ago, several hundred people on that frequent your store, expressed an interest in allowing you to have this opportunity to service their needs and desires on that side of town, and we're certainly hearing that, and we appreciate their willingness to let us know. Any other questions or comments in relation to this application? If not, we'll close the public hearing portion of
Glad
it.
you've had no incidences that we've had to cite you on, so that's a big deal.
well, I work there 7 days, so I'm there mostly. This is my second home.
Whatever you do,
Yeah.
it's working.
Thank you.
Yes.
It happens too frequently in town, so
Yes.
thank you for.
You're gonna take a vacation.
There's no such thing for me. Not until kids get out of school.
Get your kids into the business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do is we'll close this public hearing, and then we'll go to the next public hearing, hear that applicant's proposal, and then, once we close that public hearing, the board will make a determination as far as a vote as to how we want to go, how we're going to do it. Is that okay, everybody? See how the motions were written in the packet, all right?
Now it makes sense.
Okay, now it makes sense, okay. All right, so we'll close this public hearing, and we'll go on to the 8:15 public. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
There is a separate public hearing notice, I believe.
Another second notice.
Town of North Reading Notice of Public Hearing. In accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, public hearing will be held by the Select Board on Monday, October 20th, 2025, at 8:15 in Room 14, Town Hall, 235 North Street, North Reading, Massachusetts, and via virtual technology on the application of North Reading Liquors for the following license: off-premises liquor license for all alcoholic beverages to be exercised at 72 Main Street, Unit 3A, North Reading, Massachusetts, in a 1-floor building with 1 entry exit in front and 1 exit in back, no basement. The hearing may be accessed virtually as well.
Very good. All right, are the applicants present? Good evening, thank you for your application.
Thank you for
Why
giving
don't
me
you introduce yourselves?
My name is Vipul Patel. I have my manager is going to be Kiran Patel.
Okay.
And thank you for giving me opportunity. And I have applied for a liquor license at 73 Main Street, which is next to the Walmart Plaza in the corner.
Currently occupied by,
It's vacant right now. Okay, next to the dollar store.
The dollar store, okay.
It's about 1,500 square feet right now.
And the plan is to replace the dollar store, or?
No,
have
right
this-
next to it, it's right next to it.
Oh, right next to it, oh, that's where Bark and Roll was?
Oh, yeah.
Right where Bark and Roll used to be, I believe. it was.
Yes.
I see.
Triple A and dollar stores.
Okay, all right. So where Bark and Roll used to be is now currently vacant. The proposal is to have a regular liquor, just a liquor store, full liquor
Just a
store.
full liquor store.
Full liquor store.
No
okay.
convenience.
No other sale of any other products, this is
No,
what
just
you're
a
looking to do.
Fully liquor store, yeah.
All right, and as far as your prior experience in the liquor business is
Yes,
what?
I've been in business since 2000. I have 25 years of experience. I have multiple locations. I have a store in Chelmsford, Billerica, two in Lawrence, one in Marshville. So I've been in business for many years. I have no violation at all.
And as far as those other establishments, have you had any violations?
No,
Nothing.
zero
okay.
violation.
Good, okay. All right. And, board members, any questions? Again, so obviously Tip's trained, and again, generally
Yes.
you'll be the manager of record, and your experience as a
He's been
manager?
working for me for 7 years.
Okay, 7 years, okay, good. And then hours of operation would be
9 to 10,
9 to 10, 7 days?
7 days.
Okay, 7 days a week, okay. And then, all right, any questions, members of the board? Oh, excuse me, let me just see, any members of the public? Any members of the public have any questions of the applicants? And again, the application is for, is it 72 Main Street, next to the dollar store, across from Walmart, in the Walmart Plaza. Do we have any questions from anybody online?
Not seeing any.
Okay. Anybody in the room? Nope, okay. I'm sorry, board members, questions? Mr. Massey?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, this is not the dollar store?
It
This
is not
Bark
the
and
dollar
Roll
store.
next
It's
door?
next door. This
Okay.
is a vacant space next to the dollar store.
And did you folks occupy that space before, or you just?
No, we have a
Just
bit of
purchase it.
intent together. So we already, like in agreement, if we get approved, we'll have the lease tomorrow.
Okay, understood. Okay, yeah, just wanted to understand a little bit more. Thank you.
Mr. Studo?
The only comment is there's a lot on Main Street already. And pretty large ones, and I think it's, again, I think the closest one to the other area is Middleton. Yeah, Middleton. So it's more of a location rather than application.
Mhm.
It's the best way I can put it. So to me, I just think that's the only concern, that there's already a pretty big saturation between one stop all the way to Eastgate, plus that one I did forget about, but next to the, lobster car. So I don't know if that's a full, I think that's maybe beer and wine, but I don't
No,
really know.
and again, we had an applicant a couple of meetings ago for the corner of North Street too, and again, the same concerns were raised that there seems to be the public need and demand on Route 28 on the western side of town seems to be adequately serviced with the 4 major all alcohol liquor stores and then the one convenience store that's there that has it also. So it was just the high concentration of what's already out there is of concern. And again, if we are looking to meet the public demand and public need, geographics, have to come into play. And I think that's what the major concern is right now in relation to having one license left. And, would we be issuing that again to be out on the Route 28 corridor, or would we be holding it? Personally, I would have, if there was not an applicant from the east side of town, I personally would vote to hold it because, again, I think the public needs are being met sufficiently. This
We've been
particular-
searching the location like, whole town, and there's no place available for commercial property to lease or rent or buy. Only location we found was a bank was closed next to the, park, across the street from a park, but we don't want to open the store near the park, when the kids play and it just.
Right, so, So again, you know, we have, in a 2-mile stretch, 2 to 3 mile stretch, we have at least 4 establishments available for the public. And nothing
more
on these two.
convenient for the people who shop at the Walmart, it'll be a one-stop. for them,
I understand,
you know,
no, I understand,
just-
and I'm sure it would be relatively
And
successful too.
Recently, Walmart is expanding to like another 40,000 square feet or something. They're going to super Walmart.
So we've heard,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Understood. Mr. Waller, any?
Good.
Mrs. Marino, all set?
I'm good.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add before we close the public hearing?
Yeah, no, that'd be all.
All right, very good. So we appreciate your interest in applying. We'll close the public hearing, and we will entertain a motion from the clerk.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, sorry.
Through you, just so I probably should have said this at the beginning, but we have 2 separate hearings that we've now opened and closed. We've provided the opportunity for comment. We spoke with town council because we haven't had a situation like this where there's 2 applications at the same point in time. And for those who may be wondering, this additional license was created by virtue of the 2020 census, which created the town being eligible for an additional all-alcoholic beverage license. So we received initially an application to change 1 spot under that, and once word got out, we got 2 more applications that came in as well. That first application was denied. The second and third applications are being considered here this evening. We did talk with town council, just said, look, we want to make sure that we treat everybody fairly, and they recommended that we have 2 separate hearings and then a third agenda item where a vote's taken to issue the license. And as you saw in the packet, we drafted 2 motions, one that would grant the license to the location at Washington Street and deny the license on Main Street, and another that would grant the location on Main Street and deny it at Washington Street. And we did put in there some lines that could be filled in with information with regard to findings of fact. I think the most notable one that I've heard here is obviously with regard to the number that are on Main Street. Again, not knowing what the motion that will be offered will be, but there could be any number of things that are indicated in that finding of fact.
What were the other findings of fact that we had for the previous one?
So both the number that were in close proximity to the location being requested, which I'm not sure, you know, it's the opposite, right, with regard to the Christopher's location. That was a second finding of fact, and I could actually pull that up. It might take me just a
Yeah, I think just a
quick moment to do that. If you don't mind bearing with me. So the 4 findings of fact were that there are already 3 all-alcohol off-premise retail licenses along Main Street. There are at least 2 other beer and wine licenses as well that are separately issued at that location. Those 3 licenses are held by stores that are within 2 miles of each other. In addition to the 3 all-alcoholic licenses, there are additional wine and malt beverage licenses held by stores along Main Street. And fourth, that there is a desire for more geographic diversity for the location of all alcohol off-premises licenses in town. And those were 4 facts that were used in the denial of that application on September 15th.
So if we want to get a consensus of the board as to which motion we want to entertain, then we can work on the findings of fact that we want to include. Consensus of the board in relation to approve for the Christopher's Market and deny the one over here at 72 Main Street, or is it to issue the one for 72 Main Street and deny the one at Christopher Market? Personally, I'm in favor of the Christopher Market one, but what's the rest of the consensus of the board? So we have a motion to operate on it.
Right.
True? Consensus? Okay. So, clerk. Actually, let's work on the based on the following findings of fact. So as far as the desire for diversity in geographic location, geographic location. What else did we work on the other ones?
The existing 3 all-alcohol off-premise retail licenses on Main Street.
It's okay, so a sufficient number.
Geographic balance or something, you know.
Okay, so sufficient number of licenses available on Main Street. Mr. Gilberto, feel free to help us out here.
In addition to the 3 all-alcohol licenses on Main Street, there are additional wine and malt beverage licenses held by stores already along Main Street.
And again, the desire for a geographic balance, which this location provides.
So back to an existing business versus a new business, would that be, doesn't matter.
It does, I don't think that matters, but. So I think,
You may want to note too that there are 3 licenses, again, within that 2-mile stretch that I believe includes this location, going from Eastgate on the southern end to one stop on the northern end.
3 or 4? Does the?
There are, so, one stop, I'm going south, one stop.
New England Beverage.
New England Beverage,
and then
Eastgate.
Eastgate,
Yeah.
and then the one next to Lobster Claw.
So Lobster Claws are beer and wine.
No,
Then
but
there's-
the convenience store
Convenience
says,
store.
they do sell all alcohol?
Oh, not all alcohol, I'm sorry.
No, no, sorry.
Beer and
not
wine.
all-
Beer and
So
wine.
there's still only
My
3 all
apologies.
alcohol, right?
Okay.
Right. But, okay, they have a beer and wine.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So there's already 3 all alcohol licenses on Route 28. So sufficient number to meet the public need, and then to serve the public need. Additionally, there are these 3 or 4? 4.
I believe it's 3, so Route 28 Lucky Mart, the former Hassenau Speedway, I believe,
Yeah.
and then Convenience Plus. Convenience Plus, is that what it's called?
Convenience
Next to
Plus,
Lobster
I
Claw?
Yeah. Just the 3 malt beverage.
Now you're talking just beer and wine? You can
Yeah,
also,
I did,
you could also say the gas stations too that are up and down.
but that's the Speedway.
Speedway.
Speedway has it, and then I don't think
And 7-Eleven?
7-Eleven does not.
7-Eleven does not,
Oh, okay,
because the
great.
other one across the street does.
You're
They
right, yeah.
once owned both of them.
I apologize.
That's why the other one can't sell
There's a lot.
other things. All right. So there's sufficient, there are 3 all alcohol licenses available on Route 28 within a 2-mile stretch of road, right, as we had
Yep.
before, which we believe to be sufficient, in addition to the other 3 malt beverage licenses that are on Route 28. And then a desire for a geographic balance in locations, which this Washington Street address does provide. Okay?
So I have it through you, Mr. Chairman, I have 4 findings of fact on this, and I'm happy to read back when we get to that moment.
That would be good. Why don't you
Okay.
read it back to the clerk and
Do you want me to read when we get to that moment on the motion, or?
Sure.
Okay.
then
That
we
way.
can speed it along.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve a change of category from malt and wine to all alcohol for Devianche Inc., doing business as Christopher's Market at 2 Washington Street, to expire December 31st, 2025, and subject to all regulatory department requirements, and to deny an all alcohol off-premises license for North Reading Liquors, 72 Main Street, Unit 3A, based on the following findings of fact.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the findings of fact that I heard were, first, the desire for diversity of geographic location for all alcoholic licenses, the fact that there are existing 3 all alcohol licenses on Main Street being sufficient for the public need, that there are additionally at least 3 wine and malt beverages licenses at gas station and convenience stores along Main Street, and finally that the 3 all alcoholic licenses on Route 28 are within 2 miles of each other to meet the public need. that's there.
Thank you.
Second?
Motion made by Mrs. Moran, seconded by Mr. Wallner. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
That was Mrs. Moran, seconded by Mr. Wallner.
Mr. Wallner, correct. All right. So, thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, too. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good.
Thank you.
Next one is an update, water use restrictions. Mr. Prince, come on up.
You can leave it open.
I'll start us off, Mr. Chairman. Over the past, I guess probably 18 months or so, there have been somewhat significant changes in the way the state, which regulates permits for drinking water suppliers, handle water shortages and drought. And we know we've experienced the impacts of drought most recently a year ago with wildfire here in North Reading. But what they have done at the state level is for those who have licenses to either pull water from a natural resource such as the Merrimack River, which is what Andover does for us. We used to do so from the Ipswich River, but have since converted over so that 100% of our water comes from Andover. And then there are also licenses that are issued for those that are distributing the water as well, which is what North Reading does, and we hold a water license. And for those who don't know, the water system is checked daily, including Saturday and Sunday, by staff who come in, test at various locations to make sure that the water that's being provided is safe. But that is heavily regulated at both the federal and state levels. A new state regulation that has come into effect is a uniform drought classification that is being issued at the state level from the State Department of Environmental Protection. And alongside that, a requirement now for permit holders, such as the town of North Reading and the town of Andover, need to adopt a uniform classification system for levels of drought. And so we used to have existing, I think it was a 5-stage emergency type classification that was not so much drought connected, but was actually more driven by rapid fluctuation in the levels of water in our tanks. So what's being proposed is that the town, through who are the appropriate regulatory authority being in the select board, we are being required to have a uniform drought classification that matches what the state is issuing statewide. And so in the middle of September, there was a drought declaration. We were put in level 2, I believe it was at that point in time. There was some rain that came through the second part of September, and the classification for our area, the northeast area of the state, was moved to level 1. So Mr. Prince has contacted the DPW director and I, and said, that he was contacted by the state DEP. Their first issuance of a drought update was done, I think, in September. September 15th is the date that sticks out. And they said, communities are going to need to update. So first thing we did was figure out what is Andover doing, because that's where we're getting our water from, and they have actually already gone through an update. It appears to both their bylaws and to their water restriction guidelines that mirrors what the state is doing. We have had ongoing conversations with the town of Andover for many years, going back to the early 1990s, more recently with the 99-year IMA. And to be clear, it does not appear that there's necessarily a shortage of available supply of water in the Merrimack River, but they are being regulated at the state level, just as we are, to require uniform drought classification and water use restrictions. So tonight, we are here with a request for an update to our water use restrictions for something that would align with what the state is implementing at the state level, and also align with what Andover has put in place, and also to acknowledge level 1, so lower level drought classification that is in effect for our area. In the longer term, we will be coming back to the board with updates to the town's bylaws, which leave the classification determination to the select board. That's not to say it needs to be taken away from the select board. It could remain here. I think what they want to see happen is that it be something that's determined at the state level when an order is issued, but I don't know that that precludes us from our bylaw stating basically that we come to you to make a determination that that's where North Reading stands. Certainly don't want to preclude also water use restrictions that might be emergency in nature, that maybe are not related to drought, but might be related to other factors such as failure of a piece of equipment or heavy demand or unanticipated demand. Those are things that we're also concerned about. So this is going to be a multi-step conversation, but the first that we were asked to bring forward by the state is this update to our water use restrictions. You'll notice that it's fairly generic. It just says 1 day, and at the moment I think are okay with leaving it to the resident to determine the 1 day because the supply is not the issue for us right now. But we may look to do something like Andover has done, which is to move streets into different categories so that depending upon where you live, your day is 1 day or the other. And again, that's for when a drought declaration occurs. So I know I've said a lot, but hopefully I've summarized it pretty well. Can I ask, Mr. Chairman, through you, if Mr. Prince wants to add anything to that, or if
I think that's effective. In what you said, it pretty much reflects what the state has asked us to do and kind of what we need to do as the town to kind of fall in line with that and change up the way that we had our classification of what a drought status is and what a drought regulation or restriction would be.
Just for the board members, page 210 is where in your packet, is where the discussion and description starts from the town administrator and Mr. Prince when he's presented to us. As the town administrator pointed out, supply generally isn't an issue for us or Andover, but again, we still need to comply with what the state is looking for us to do. So in conversation with the town administrator, Mr. Prince said we have to know what Andover's doing before we know what we're doing. And fortunately, they've already put something in place so that we can mirror that, so that when they put a restriction in place, we're a customer of theirs, so it'll impact us. But any other questions or comments in relation to what Mr. Prince is proposing? Mr. Studo?
Well, so the current one I know is a little bit, I think we usually get to the, like the twice a week, or every other day or whatever, right? This is like pretty, and full disclosure, I have irrigation as well. But here's a question. Knowing North Reading, how are we going to enforce this? I can tell you this. If we went to a level 1, then you'd just be going from house to house giving fines. I'm not saying you do, but I'm just saying in general. But that's my question, is it something where we have to adopt it, I understand it, but what is the proposed enforcement mechanism? Because it's just unrealistic. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. Like, you could just drive around and you're going to find every single person in an irrigation system in town literally breaking this rule as soon as it's just going to be automatic, kind of like Linfield. The joke is that there could be a flood and they'll still have that sign that says you can't water. So.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to make an attempt at the answer. Mr. Prince can certainly elaborate. And there may be some reading between the lines that occurs in my answer here too. So our enforcement, at least in the 11 years I've been involved, is entirely driven by the performance of our water system. So if the DPW is monitoring the performance of our water system and it's performing okay, the enforcement actions have been extremely limited. And we're seeing challenges in our system, and those challenges are normally in the form of our tank levels dropping dramatically to the point where there's a concern about our ability to conduct fire suppression activities, so fight a fire with a hydrant. Then we seek to enforce because it's a public safety issue. I don't expect that there's any intention for that to change at this point in time, and I think that'll continue to be the strategy. We've been fortunate, knocking on wood here, but since our transition to Andover, and then with our upgrades of our lines coming out of the town of Andover, both on Main Street and on Central Street, we haven't had the challenges that we had prior to that with what I just described, so our enforcement has been very limited. It hasn't needed to exceed that, even in drought situations. So we don't expect that to change at this point in time, in terms of our intent. Hopefully that answers the question.
Because even, right, if I'm reading this correctly, it does, thank you, I won't press on that, but they're currently at a level 2, right?
At the end of September, they issued a level 2. On October 10th, they changed it back down to a level 1 after they got all the rain.
But, which makes absolutely no sense, I mean, it's like when everybody stops watering. But even in Andover, our neighbors up north, okay, if they went level 2, I mean, just arrest everybody in Lafina. Like, I mean, it's just, again, I just feel that like this is it's an arbitrary thing where even, like Mr. O'Leary said, we're gonna follow Andover's lead, but again, I mean, Andover's the land of irrigation systems as well. So it's like, I'm just trying to figure out that, like, if, let's say they did it, and then we did it, it just, I don't know, it just,
I think we agree. I think we agree with your assessment, and I think from our conversations with Andover and from our observations, they are handling it in the fashion I just described, which is monitoring the performance of their system and acting accordingly.
Okay.
And there's no intention at this point on DPW or my part to change that. What develops in the years ahead in terms of enforcement from outside is it certainly different.
And this comes from the state?
It does.
So that they do it. So who is it if you're on a public water body, like on a river, or is that how you get under this?
It's because we have a permit to treat and distribute a water supply.
I mean,
regardless of the source.
Yeah.
This affects.
But not all
this
cities and towns.
No, it affects MWRA communities also.
Okay.
It affects everybody. This is like across the board. Everybody needs to accept these regulations so that, you know, when we run into a situation that we've had this year and last year, as far as the droughts, there's some sort of guidelines, regulations that everybody can point to and say, this is what we need to do.
Because I'd say this doesn't affect Malden and Medford either, because there's a lot of concrete, but Italians water their concrete. So
Watch the driveway.
Wash the driveway, so it's actually an issue there too. So I'm just saying, yeah, because I saw it and I'm just.
No, and again, years past, again, when we had, you know, a sufficient amount of, a lot of our water that was supplied by our own wells, we had restrictions all the time, because our wells were running dry, we were drawing more from Andover. Then as our wells failed, and we started getting more, we ended up with 65% of our water from Andover for a long period of time. We still had restrictions in place because it was necessary, as Mr. Gilberto pointed out, when our water tanks went down, we were unable to fight fires, and therefore and there was more enforcement back then. Again, with this long-term deal, intermunicipal agreement with Andover, supply doesn't appear to be an issue, which is a good thing. And
Thank you.
on top of that, we are in the Ipswich River water basin, and so whatever we take here, and we're on septic systems here, we're actually putting back into the Ipswich River basin, which is one of the most distressed in the country. So it's a net positive, the deal that we have with Andover in helping service the needs of the Ipswich River water basin, so it's a good thing. But that being said, we have to institute these regulations in order to come into compliance, and water superintendent is suggesting that we do that.
I'm done. Thank you.
I would think on the compliance, I think when we've announced it in the past, it's just been through the transcript. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. It would be posted on the town's website, and then posted as an ad in the transcript saying this is what it is.
So I kind of believe in peer pressure. If we made it even more like, you know, when you come into town, it's saying we're in stage 2 or stage 1 or whatever.
Which we have done in the past when we were initiating it for safety reasons to make sure we had enough supply to meet fire needs. We've posted it on signboards in the center of town and coming into town.
I think that would go a long ways to helping people. I mean, you're never going to get 100% compliance, but I do think people really care. And if you use Andover as an example, they actually reduce their speed limits. If there's no speed limit, it's 25 miles an hour. When you go through Andover now, things go pretty slow. So they're actually, you know, getting people to go 25 miles an hour is hard to do. I actually think if it's advertised well, people will actually largely comply.
Plus the new water rate is gonna,
What's that?
hopefully the new water rate is gonna give some
Yeah,
people
the
a
new water
pause.
rates are gonna have a bearing on the irrigation too.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Maybe
About
not you.
15%. Mr. Chair. Okay. Quick question. Have we thought about going through the fire department or the community planning commission at all to make some recommendations, or I just feel like they're, with the water department as far as professionals?
These are our professionals as far as the water system, as far as our
No, I
water
trust it.
supply, as far
I trust
as
it.
water
I trust
needs.
Matt. I just, I think fire department and community planning commission's input would make a ton of sense to me, but maybe not.
I think there'll be plenty of opportunities to us. Mr. Gibbons pointed out, this is gonna be an ongoing process to come into compliance, changing the bylaws, which is where the input is gonna be critical. And I think that the opportunities will present themselves. then. But right now, we need to.
Just to keep going on my point there, Mr. Chairman.
Good
Good to hear no shortage of supply. That helps me with how I would vote. Repercussions for residents who break it. I totally agree with Vincenzo. If you got a $2 to $3 million home, you're like, I don't care what they say. I am making my grass green. I know our violations and penalties right now list $50 for the first violation, $100 for each subsequent violation. Any thought of changing that to a warning being issued as the first violation?
The first is,
What's the normal practice, Matt?
We usually send a written letter. Usually say, hey, we've noticed that you've
They
irrigated
get
more
the-
than
Okay.
often.
They get the
that's
warning
Send a
before
letter,
the
just
fine.
ask us to comply to whatever the regulation is at that point.
Awesome. As far as the state, why do we have to comply? And what happens if we don't?
They put fines on the town, and we have to comply because they hold the power of giving registrations and permits to municipalities. So anyone that holds a registration or a permit needs to comply with what they had.
What are they
issued
going
as-
to do, shut our water off?
I think they could heavily fine us, as I believe is what
Understood,
their
understood.
intent was. Same with YouTube to residents or anything like that, if we had to.
Did the state provide a maximum or a minimum, like any guidance to comply? Do we have any rule book to go off of? Is there a state says, we recommend at minimum, I think, it went away. The drought one was, hey, you should.
That chart is from the state. That is what they had recommended.
Gotcha. Now, do we have to go above them, like at or above, or can we,
That would be the.
is there room
bare
for
minimum.
negotiation?
That would be the minimum of what, we could go beyond that, but I would recommend going beyond what they said.
That's the minimum, okay. And as far as comply for the state, they love to throw that out there to comply, even though they will not allow the legislature to be audited. So I always find it funny to hear from the state that they want us to comply, but yet they don't comply with the people's votes. Thank you.
Any other comments in
I
relation
just,
to the recommendation, Mr.
uh,
Warren?
I just have a question about the state's requirement, like what is the thought process behind it? Is it conservation?
Yes. Yeah, so they have the environmental, the agency name. Yeah, the EEA. So they monitor the water levels coming in from precipitation and the ground levels and all that kind of stuff. And then they declare whatever drought that we're in. I will say over the past years, so this went into effect this past year. Previous years, they were very trigger happy with declaring a drought. We would be in a drought April 1st and say we're third level degree drought.
Right.
Since they've mandated municipalities to comply with it, this year they didn't declare a drought until September.
Okay.
So I think either they have lax or things have gotten better. This year was very dry. Everyone irrigated a ton this summer, and they didn't issue anything until September. So not knowing what's going to happen in future years, but they have, in previous years, like I said, April 1st we went around and they said, hey, we're in a drought, and it never lifted all summer long.
Is it because of snowfall in the winter
I'm not a expert in that field of drought and all that kind of stuff, but they have obviously experts that monitor and direct it from the state.
And is it different restrictions for different parts of the state?
They break it up into
Okay.
sections. So we're in the northeast section. So they have a northeast, a southeast, central, western.
Like the
Cape.
Berkshires probably have a
They have all
different
different ones.
rule.
So
Okay.
I don't know if we added it in
It's a
there, but the map of it shows what sections are what they declare. And they break them up, like right now, they knocked us down to a level 1, but Western Mass is still in a level 2, and I believe the Cape and the Berkshires are level 2 as well.
Got it.
Also, I'm sorry to interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
Our regulations are less than east and west of us?
Currently, right now,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So the other parts of Massachusetts are in a level 2 drought right now,
Gotcha.
and
Sorry.
Northeast is in a level 1.
Sorry.
So if the intent is to conserve the natural resources and be ready for fire issues like we had a couple of summers ago, it's probably driven by the general cycle of drought.
I would
The
assume
season,
so, yeah,
okay.
this is probably classifications of what a drought is. I believe in the articles that they kind of tell you what they're monitoring and stuff like that, but.
Okay.
Mr.
Just a
Studo?
follow-up question, just because I'm interested, you might know. So, but private wells aren't regulated?
Not currently as far as I know.
Because I feel like we're still pulling from the same water. At the end of the day, right, it's all coming from the same.
The same
something.
aquifer, yeah.
'Cause-
Although for North Reading, it's not the same aquifer. We're pulling from Andover. Private wells in North Reading are pulling from the Upstate River Basin.
Maybe I should start digging.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper.
So, okay, no, I just had a question, because again, also, in this area, because we have so much conservation,
Yep.
it's pretty easy to strike water. It's not, you're not digging for, it's not like you need a $50,000 dig to hit water. So again, there's a lot of those as well, and it's interesting that it's like, well, you can't water from this, you can't take from the left hand, but you can take from the right if you're fortunate enough to have the right hand available. So like, that's just a question. That would be interesting to try to regulate every backyard. I think even the state of Mass would find that hard.
What's the difference between FEMA and the floodplain?
Any other questions
I'm
of
in the flood zone now.
Mr. Prince, the town administrator, in relation to what's being proposed? Nope, okay. Do we have a motion on this?
There is a motion, yeah.
There is a
Yep,
motion.
we have a motion. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve water use restriction for the town of North Reading as follows. North Reading water restriction levels. Drought level 0 will have no mandatory restrictions. Drought level 1, noted as mild drought, will limit non-essential outdoor watering to 1 day per week before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. Level 2, which is a significant drought, will ban all non-essential outdoor watering except for drip irrigation or hand watering of gardens. Level 3, which is a critical drought, all non-essential outdoor water use is prohibited. And level 4, drought emergency, will have a complete outdoor water ban. And to declare a level 1 mild drought condition as of right now.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Studo. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, unanimous. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nay.
No,
Nay.
okay. 4 to 1, Mr.
I
Massey.
can't impose water restrictions on the residents. Doesn't make sense.
Okay. So 4 to 1. All right.
That is good. I do
Matt,
have
thank
4
you very
kids.
much
Thank you very
for
much.
taking the time out and
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
spending the
Matt.
evening with us.
Thank you.
I do have 4 kids, I guess they could all hold a hose. Everybody's standing in a different part of the driveway.
If you got a water barrel, you could have your kids dip their little buckets and then.
All right, the
Well,
next
the
order
water
of business
green
is
belly
board
club.
member reports. I'm going to start off myself here. First of all, town meeting, we had a very successful town meeting, and I appreciate the administration's hard work putting everything together for us. I appreciate the public's participation. I think we got some clear indication, which is what we were looking for from the public as to what they were looking to do on certain matters, specifically the senior center current situation, interim situation, and future situation, and then whether or not they wanted to have us pursue going to intergenerational and/or senior center only. So I think we got some pretty clear indication that they want us to continue to explore. On the leasing of space for the senior center in the interim period or short-term period, I think administratively that can be handled by the administration, and they're already working on it, undertaking that matter so that they can report to us as to what their findings are, what's available, what the costs are going to be, and reporting again. It's town administrator, the Canzilli already working on it. So I think that's the most expeditious way to move forward, to get the information we need to make some informed decisions and get the information out to the public. So I think that's probably the way to handle that. As far as whether we do intergenerational or senior center, I think we're going to have an agenda item to determine exactly what we're looking for people to do, what type of a committee we want, membership of the committee, size of the committee, and the charge or mission that we're looking to give to them. I think we'll do that rather quickly. We'll have an agenda item for us to strategize amongst ourselves as to what we think is going to be needed and what we'd like to see happen. Then we'll come to some sort of an agreement and consensus on that, and then put the word out and look for volunteers. But so give it some thought, because in the not too distant future we'll be taking that into consideration, because I think time is of the essence. I mean, if we can get some clear indications in the short few months we have before June town meeting, I think we can get the space issue determined as to what the costs are going to be and how we want to proceed with that. And as far as whether it's going to be intergenerational or indoor, just a senior center, again, we'll get a committee formed to take a look at the information that's already have. I mean, we've had a lot of this information available from previous studies, previous work of other boards, committees, Facilities Master Plan Committee included. So I think we put together a committee to pull this information together, determine what we're looking for square footage wise, and then what the costs are going to be going forward. We can report back to town meeting, hopefully in short order, because obviously this is a compelling need that needs to be addressed. So, so that's the intention here, is that we'll have an agenda item to talk about the configuration of any committee for that. But as far as the leasing of space, that'll be handled administratively and reported back to the board. Right. The other thing, I know most of you were CC'd on the most recent Board of Health meeting, which occurred Thursday evening. I was just coming back from vacation, so I wasn't able to attend, but I've been well informed as to what's transpired in relation to the public nuisance at Martin's Landing. There was a discussion that was had by the Board of Health, and they took prompt and immediate action to take it under advisement and also take some very strong action in relation to the odors that are being produced by the wastewater treatment plant over at Martin's Landing. It's been an ongoing problem for quite a while, for a number of years, but just coming to light as far as town hall's awareness of it, and the Board of Health, again, took very definitive action. So this was Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The chairman of the Board of Health, along with the health agent, Mr. Bracy, and again, Mr. Hunt, were over at Martin's Landing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and again this morning, to monitor it. As a result of those findings, the Board of Health has issued a notification to the operators of the wastewater treatment plant, notifying Pulte and the appropriate parties, along with the Small Water System Services, who has the contract to manage the plant, that there's a public nuisance there, that the odors are quite apparent and ongoing. They were given a notice to correct by the Board of Health with 24 hours notice, 24 hours to correct it. They were unable to correct it. There was full notification again given by the Board of Health, but actually $1,000 a day fines are now being imposed until some corrective action is being taken. In addition to that, the DEP, which is again has the authority to regulate the wastewater treatment plant. That wastewater treatment facility over there is above a capacity level that negates the Board of Health to have the oversight of it. So it's a state DEP. They've been intimately involved in the process, ongoing for a number of years, but in particular in the last several months, monitoring it, working on some corrective action that needs to be taken by the facilities operators, and are well aware as to what the situation is. The action by the Board of Health has heightened their awareness even more, where there's been communication back and forth with the health agent, Board of Health, DEP, and the operators of the facility. There was a meeting this morning at Martin's Landing where the principals were there, the Pulte representatives, the operators of the facility, the chairman of the Board of Health, the health agent, town administrator, and myself were present. There were about 150-plus residents of Martin's Landing that also came to hear what was going on and express their concerns and consternation with the level of communication and action that was being taken. I really want to commend Gary Hunt, the Board of Health, and Bob Bracy, health agent, and the way that they've taken immediate action once it was brought to their attention. And that I know for a fact, based upon comments as we were leaving the meeting this morning, a lot of the residents there were greatly appreciative of the fact that the Board of Health was so responsive, and that members of the administration were there to listen to them and to expedite the level of communication and some positive action to address the situation. So it's ongoing. The communication level has been heightened. The attention of the developers over there certainly has been heightened by the fact that they've been given official notification of a public nuisance. They've also in a situation where fines are starting to be imposed. DEP has responded that they are going to impose some other additional restrictions on them and require some additional actions on their part in order to correct the situation. So we're grateful for the people of Martin's Landing for coming forward, first of all, and then bringing in, I mean, I saw some notifications on social media over the last couple of months about it, but it's gotten to the point where they felt it necessary to come before the Board of Health. The Board of Health took immediate action, and we congratulated for that. And by the way, it's going to be a lot of work moving forward, but the Board of Health chairman, as he pointed out to the group this morning, was, their responsibility is to the people in the town of North Reading, and they'll take whatever appropriate action that they can within their ability, and enhance and increase the level of communication between the developer, facilities operator, and the residents over there. There appears to be a significant amount of distrust on the part of the residents over there of the information that they've been getting over the last couple of years or several years, and hopefully that's going to be enhanced. The level of trust is going to be a little different because there's going to be, the Board of Health is going to be involved in it. Administration, the town administrator did a terrific job this morning too of again, letting people know exactly what role we can play and what role we intend on playing. So all positive for a very negative situation that these people should not necessarily be subjected to, and will continue to be addressed. Mobile Home Rent Control Board will be meeting again this Friday to close out the public hearing on the discontinuance of Perry Park. I've been keeping you informed on. With that discontinuance, the closing of that public hearing, it then comes to this board. There'll be a recommendation made by the Mobile Home Rent Control Board to this board, at which point we have 90 days from the close of the hearing Friday to have a hearing on it, and before we can make a determination, we'll make a determination as to whether or not to allow the discontinuance of the park. So we'll have all the information that was provided at their public hearings. It's been suggested that we have a public hearing to allow the applicant, again, to make their presentation to the board, and any of the residents over there or any of the who are directly impacted to, or their representatives to make a presentation to this board before we make a final determination as to whether or not we're going to allow them to discontinue the use of that park. So again, I want to thank Jack Mannion, Lydia Rial, and Caitlin Galvin for doing a fantastic job. A series of probably 4 different public hearings there, very fair, very open, and very candid as to what the impact of the proposal is, and they'll be making their recommendation to us. Other than that, I think that's it. So, next up, Mr. Massey.
Go ahead. I'll go last.
Okay.
I thought mine was long, but I'll be shorter than you.
All right.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. Let's see. So about a year and a half ago, the Commission on Disabilities did a town survey, and the results of that survey was 2 main things. One was transportation. That's already being worked on with the Transportation Committee. We continue to try to accelerate that to bring that up to a more MBTA type level to gain some support from our state reps and people like that. But the other thing that came out of it is that there's really a very significant age band. When you're in school, you get services when you have special needs. But when you hit 18 through 21, those services start to drop off. So what we heard from the town was that people were in that 21 plus area. They were really left alone and didn't know what their resources were. To meet that need, the Commission on Disability, along with the library and the Community Impact Team, hosted a transitional meeting on September 9th. It was very well attended. We had people from the state providing information on services that people were unaware of. And the state is, we're blessed. We have so many services, it's almost overwhelming to find them. It's a matter of just finding out what's going to fit you best. So that was a good turnout for that. We probably needed a larger space than where we were. And then continuing on that, we're doing a, sorry, I have a second here. We're doing another one on estate planning. I'll find this in a second. Okay, I don't know what it is. It's coming up, I think it's November 3rd, I think. I'm not exactly sure the date, but you look in the paper, you'll see it. It's basically to go over estate planning, and it'll be from 4 to 5 at the library. Again, I don't know the date off the top of my head. If I find it, I'll mention it before I end this section. But it's intended to be for people to prepare for their child to lose the support of their parents and rely on their siblings. How do you plan for that? How do you financially cover that? It can be a significant expense. We're bringing in an attorney that we all know. She's been a resource to us in the past. She volunteers her time. She's going to come and give us the same information. She's a superstar at doing this sort of thing. So thanks to the COD. By the way, all this action is taking place under the chair of Gina Morin, who took it over this year from me and is doing a great job of getting things done. You probably read in the paper, recently there was a town-wide cleanup and litter audit. It was put on by the North Reading Green Alliance, which is a private group, along with the NRHS ECHO team. So they worked together, and the Sustainability Committee also came out to provide that audit. And I think it was in the paper, it showed what they collected, what they found. One of the things that keeps showing up is the nips are all over the place, and those are, you know, in some towns you can't buy nips for that reason because they're just easy to throw out the window and not get caught by the police with nips in their car, right? So that went very well. That was on Sunday, October 5th. And the third thing is I've been following Land Utilization Committee. They have already gotten a head start on trying to find properties in town for the Intergenerational Community Center. Phil Hertz is the one who's doing the actual work there. Next to our town engineer, probably no one knows town properties better than Phil Hertz in town. He knows how to do all the maps and everything else like that. And so they're trying to find and identify potential areas where we could put the Intergenerational Community Center. And at the same time, focus on properties that we can put up for sale to generate some cash. So it's a good effort. I'm sure there's other people who are looking at the same thing, but at least they're getting a head start. I'm happy they're doing it. That's it. Thank you.
Great. Laura?
The Community Impact Team is hosting, in conjunction with the Board of Health, is hosting the second public hearing for the NFG, which is the nicotine-free generation, and that is next, that's this week on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the long-distance learning in the high school. So I encourage everyone to attend if you have time. This Thursday, you probably don't, because of sports.
Oh, I see it on the calendar.
Oh, it was posted in, on the town website and the CIT website. And I think there was an article in the transcript as well. So this is the second meeting out of 3. The first one was very well attended, but unfortunately it was at the same time as the real senior prom, so we didn't get as many people as we would hope. I'm hoping more people will turn up for the upcoming meeting on Thursday.
And again, it's going to be where?
It's in the high school in the long-distance learning class. So when you go through the main door, not the main doors, the doors by the gym, you just keep walking.
It's way down there.
It's way down in the end.
Yeah. Just reach out.
And I think we already talked about the cemetery cleanup, the Park Street Cemetery happening this Sunday. don't think I have anything else.
Mr. Studo.
Also, the CIT is the drug take-back event on Saturday was moved to the Flint Library parking lot. It was advertised, but I think originally it was supposed to be at,
The third meeting house.
yes, thank you.
Utility
But
work
it's under
continues there.
construction.
Yeah, so now it's been moved to the Flint Memorial Library. So if there's anything need to bring there, just to keep them out of harm's way or expired, for whatever reason. So it's definitely a good time to talk about hazardous waste event. And then there is a 40B meeting Thursday, but I believe it is just for the purposes of opening the meeting to say they're continuing it for further information. Correct. So, unless you want to show up just to go see Mr. Bryn announce that, I mean, other than that, there's really nothing going on that day.
I believe they're looking at November 19th. That's the date I think that's floating out there. But that'll be confirmed and publicized after the vote.
And then also just one thing, two things. Mr. Wallner, that event that you were saying, it is
Yeah.
Tuesday, November 18th.
I got it right.
And then on the calendar, you said the 23rd?
The 23rd.
I'm on the Board of Health. I'm on the calendar right now. It's not here.
I think
They
they
haven't
have
posted
till
it yet.
tomorrow.
Oh, they haven't posted it. Did you say they posted it or didn't post it?
I think they announced it.
Oh,
No,
they just didn't post the
they didn't
meeting?
post it.
Okay.
But the Board of
Sorry.
Health, they may be posting, they may not, I'm not sure. I think if the majority of the board shows up there, they'll
Yeah.
post the meeting, but
Okay.
it's not a Board of
It's
Health.
an
It's not a Board of Health
Oh,
meeting.
no, I
Hearing,
know,
it's
I
not-
knew about it, I was just confused.
Yeah.
So, and other than that, that's it.
Mr. Massey.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for those in the community and in the board that don't know, I serve as a owner's project manager at Northeast Metro Tech full-time. So all of our taxpayer dollars are going to Northeast Metro Tech as well. Quick little update for you, which I have yet to do. The project is going really well. It is coming in on time and under budget. Right now, wall tile, floor tile, ceiling tiles are currently going in. Site utilities are mostly complete. And as far as the Farm Street driveway concerns, that the project worked with the Conservation Committee of Wakefield and the Mass DEP, those have been settled for a couple months now. Blasting is now completed on the Farm Street driveway. Utilities and the binder coat paving are expected to be completed by the end of the year. So quick turnaround there, which is great. I'm really excited for this school as a former vocational graduate for high school. I went to Shawshene Tech, not Northeast Metro. But revitalizing a necessary need for vocational schools, updating facilities to cutting-edge technology of the different trades and industries. And this will be a transformative project for future trades workers that help build these communities right here. Very happy for the opportunity that the students of the towns that Northeast Metro Tech serves will have for years to come. It's really exciting. As far as Northeast Metro Tech, they are changing their admissions to a lottery system per DESI's regulation and state legislature. Northeast Metro Tech mentioned they'll now be entering into a weighted lottery system for student enrollment. I've communicated this to the town administration and the school superintendent. They are both aware of the legislative action. We are all at this point unaware of how it will affect North Reading and other towns' funding for students going to Northeast Metro Tech in lieu of North Reading Public Schools, etc. But any and all impacts are not known at this time, and whether they be good or bad, certainly keep the community updated. I'm sure that the school committee will touch upon it as well, but this is definitely considered a major change to the admissions process for construction technology education high schools.
Can I ask Mr. Massey a question on that? Or maybe someone can answer. So if it's a lottery, does it mean that if North Reading has, I'm just making this up, 20 slots, that then within the community it's a lottery of the 20, or is it a lottery for how many slots?
I think we're still allotted the same number of slots, because we pay proportionately based upon our population there. That's how it's divvied up.
Don't we pay based on student?
But again, whether we fill all those slots.
Pay based on student. So that's if it becomes a lottery system and we pay based on student, it depends on how that's going to go. And we're like, obviously, a new school, you build it, they will come. I assume that'll increase off the bat without the lottery system, but I'm interested in how the lottery system plays North Reading with, you know, how do I say it, the affluent town that we are here compared to others. I don't know how that will affect, so.
Oh, no, because I don't think the lottery system's fine, as long as the lottery's within, like, you still get your 30, but it's not like first come, first served.
We're not gonna lose any seats. North Reading won't lose.
Again, because I think this is big, I mean, just, we need trade schools. I mean,
Absolutely.
Everyone can't be a contractor and a financial
No,
advisor.
what's important to note is that when that vote took place, North Reading had the highest percentage of support in any community in the district.
That's right.
This town supported the redo of that school at a higher percentage rate than any other community that was involved in the decision. So we can be proud of that, and again, there's a lot of widespread support in this community for vocational education that was quite evident when that vote took place.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. A couple other things, and this may be a recommendation actually to the town administrator, but I think as a select board in a town, we need to focus on changing the trajectory of the long-term financial situation of this town. And it's gonna come up, the pressure's gonna build more than it will fall off here in this town. There is a slide that the administration continues to show that has red bars and says the deficit that we're going to be in by 2042 or whatever year is put up there. And that slide, I've said it since before I was elected to this position, that slide is the most important slide that has been shown in a select board meeting. I think a plan or a recommendation of how the board should act. You know, the administration's the professionals here. They see what may or may not work. You know, I wrote here, it can be a narrative, historical data, understanding of new development in town and future development, future town projects that may be requested to residents that we know may be coming. But seeing a 5 to 10 year plan on what the administration would recommend for the select board to act on would assist in changing the financial position of this town. If it's drastic changes, then so be it. But a recommendation nonetheless of how we can put ourselves in a better financial position long term. We cannot continue to go down the same path that we're headed for with no guidance or proactive action recommendation by our administration. It does not look beneficial to the taxpayers for the next 5 to 10 years without systemic changes to our operations and how we serve the people. Some elected officials of this town consider requesting the voters to go above the state limitations of a Prop 2.5, which in my opinion is maybe the best law that's ever been created for the taxpayers, to avoid operational requests like this. This is just a temporary Band-Aid, or would be a temporary Band-Aid on a town operational budget that is a longer term issue. It is easy for elected officials to request more funding to assist their jobs, but it is our responsibility to stay within these budgets. If it requires hearings to take public input or what is important to the public, then let's do it. But more productive budget discussions on how to fix things long term is only beneficial to talk it out, and I would recommend that we have these more often. I want to touch upon public comment. There have been several requests to have public comment more frequently or allowed at meetings that do not have public comment. I've spoken about this before and how we work for the people in North Reading. We should be encouraged to allow more public comment in the meetings. Public comment is the residents' rights to provide their feedback to their elected officials and town administration that they pay into. It is my recommendation to this board to create a select board policy that requires the North Reading Select Board to have one public comment period per meeting. This excludes emergency meetings and of course any executive only meetings. But just because we have a public hearing one night doesn't constitute the removal of a public comment elsewhere on the agenda, as the residents may want to come and talk about something outside of the purview of the public hearing, knowing that our select board holds our residents accountable to staying pertinent to the article or staying pertinent to the hearing, which is a good job that we do. Further to that, I believe that all open town meetings for all departments and committees should have public comment, which not all of them do, but that is another subject. I'm here speaking on select board only. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, create a select board policy that requires the select board to have one separate public comment agenda item per meeting, excluding the emergency and executive session only meetings.
Is there a second?
No second, okay. Good time to remind you folks that we work for the residents. On to the next item I have here is a charter review committee. In January 2025, I sent an email to the town administrator and the chairman at the time, which I understand that both parties and all parties, everyone's busy. I get it. Things can get lost. I stated some findings from the town charter policies. I followed up again with the new chairman and the town administrator on that same email in May. Both emails never received a response, so I will read the charter policy now. The select board shall, not later than November 1st, 1970, and at 5-year intervals thereafter, appoint a special committee for the purpose of reviewing and recodifying all existing bylaws of the town. The report of the committee shall be submitted to the select board not less than 2 weeks prior to the closing of the warrant for the next October town meeting. The recommendations of the committee for bylaw changes shall appear on the warrant for said town meeting. And the select board shall publish all bylaws incorporating changes approved by town meeting. Copies shall be made available. Blah, 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 blah. Therefore, understanding, Mr. Chairman and select board here, that this is a town charter policy that we do currently not follow. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for the select board to create a charter review committee to have recommendations by October town meeting of 2026 per the Charters Policy Section 9-3-1.
I have a question for you. You're talking about charter review committee or a bylaw review committee? You were talking about the bylaws every 5 years.
The town charter.
But you're calling for, there's a very different differentiation between a bylaw review committee and a charter review committee, which is
Different.
Which
I
is
get
a
it.
whole different
Understood.
ball of wax. So I'm confused as to what you were talking about bylaws, and then motion is charter review. It's different.
You make a very valid point. I was reading the charter, and you're right, it does mention bylaw committee, so I apologize, Mr. Chairman. To change my motion, I'd like to redact that motion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, for the select board to create a bylaw review committee to have recommendations by next October town meeting of 2026 per the Charters Policy Section 9-3-1.
Is there a second?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So what's the purpose of the
Should there be a second before we have a discussion? How does that work?
It all depends on how you want to, whether you want it before she seconds it or anybody seconds it. Maybe she's looking for some clarification as to what you're looking for.
I'm not familiar with that piece. I'm just trying to understand what's the purpose of the bylaw review. Is it to strike down laws that are no longer valid and applicable, like witch burning, or?
We can't strike down anything.
My opinion is there are definitely bylaws that we do not follow. They may be
Probably.
certainly antiquated, but now might be a good time to update those and say, hey, this is antiquated, let's take this out. Or, hey, this is a great bylaw policy that we create a committee and the committee wants to recommend something to the select board to incorporate. That's sort of what.
Do we have to, sorry, just to follow up, do we need to include the town council in that? Is that, I'm not sure how that,
I don't think so.
okay.
Mr. Gilberto, you want to give some clarification or interpretation as to what you?
I guess the only thing I'm going to add is, as I always do, the board can do as it so pleases, but I caution against taking a vote on something that's not specifically on the agenda.
Right.
I think if there's a consensus of folks to put it on an agenda in a future meeting, as soon as the next meeting, that could certainly be done, but I do feel a professional obligation to caution against taking a vote on something that's not on the agenda and risking a potential potential immediate law violation.
Oh, guaranteed, guaranteed. Somebody's got nothing to do after work out west.
That's a valid point.
Just to be clear, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with any of the ideas coming up. If there's a consensus to discuss any of them at a future agenda item, that certainly could, we could make a determination. We're going to discuss it at a future meeting.
But I appreciate your input and caution in relation to moving forward or something. So, I think what's happened over the years in relation to this is we have annually bylaws reviewed and amended.
By who?
So it's by the appropriate boards and committees and commissions that are subject to certain bylaws. And again, there have been bylaw amendments proposed since you've been on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So
Facts.
it's an ongoing process generally anyway. And I don't disagree that we don't follow exactly what the policy of the charter calls for. But if we want to, we can discuss it. But again, I think we just need to get some more clarity as to what needs to be done. So we can put it on a future agenda item to discuss.
Also, the number of bylaws would be interesting to me. How many bylaws do we have?
Oh, it's one of those things.
No, but how many are there? Because it's a resource thing as well. I mean, I'm not going to camp out here till midnight for the next 6 months because, you know, I need to rewrite a bylaw from 1965. I'm just being, it's realistic. So, but if there's an efficient way to do it, I just don't know who the committee would be. But yeah, it seems like it's a bigger conversation, but I'd be interested to know what the process would be.
All right, so why don't we put a future agenda item out to discuss what the process would be, what would be called for, and what we'd be looking for this committee to do specifically, and what it entails.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, I
if we
think
can make a note of that, Michael?
just understand that we were sworn in to uphold the bylaws and all that, so I constantly want to respect that.
Yeah.
2 more points here, Mr. Chairman, I'll wrap it up quickly.
I thought you weren't going to go longer than me.
I think I'm still under you.
I think
I'm still, you have a lot of pauses. I'm quick. Martin's Landing, I was present at the Board of Health meeting this past Thursday. A lot of issues from Martin's Landing residents, a lot of impacts to residents, including residents not being able to sell their property after deposits are made. They come to the property and the buyer backs out. So that is a major problem to residents there. But the Board of Health and Health Director Bob Bracey provided immediate action on behalf of, and Mr. O'Leary touched upon this, you stole my thunder a little bit, that's okay. I appreciate that. I'm just going to reiterate what you said. Bob Bracey provided immediate action on behalf of the residents due to a public health issue that was not being addressed by Pulte. Bob Bracey did a terrific job by turning around those complaints on a Thursday night by the residents and having a letter to Pulte the next day by 11 a.m. He worked hard on behalf of the residents of North Reading, and that deserves to be commended. He followed that up by a site visit on Saturday and Sunday of the weekend. Bob kept me apprised of the developments over the weekend. Him and I kept in touch, so I can help share the status and meeting date and time that occurred this morning with the Martin's Landing residents, which I did. We texted each other both on Saturday and Sunday, understand what newly has developed from his site visit those days. But many of you may remember, not too long ago, about a month ago, Mr. O'Leary made a comment about me last month. He mentioned I was abusing, bullying, and intimidating a town employee. My opinion, that those are only Mr. O'Leary's words and no one else's. That employee he was referencing is Mr. Bob Bracey. The relationship I have with Mr. Bracey is strong, always has been, and we work together to get things done for the town. You know, I find it really weird if an employee feels they're being abused or intimidated or bullied and contact me personally and text me on weekends. So I think that, you know, that was false. and I just wanted to correct that record. Secondly, a month ago, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned public records requests, right? And you mentioned within those comments, Mr. Chairman, last month, you noted that the public records requests that I made are labor intensive and time consuming to the town employees. But that just must be the rules and regulations or thoughts for when I submit them. Because I certainly had a great time laughing when I was told shortly after that meeting that Mr. O'Leary submitted multiple public records requests for emails I've sent. So as Mr. O'Leary has previously stated, the public has a right to know. And, you know, I sit here in this chair and I've learned that, certainly learned that I can take my licks, but when the record needs to be corrected, it needs to be corrected, and that's what I'm doing. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Warren?
I'm sorry, I completely forgot during the report. What? The 911 regional dispatch calls, so Mr. Wallner, the town administrator, and myself were able to make the meeting and the walkthrough with the fire chief and the police chief, and it's a very impressive facility in Wilmington. They walked us through the training process that the staff goes through in order to work at the 911 regional call center. They walked us through the building itself, the facility and the layout and the levels of redundancy they have both in operation and the emergency power supply, and it was a very impressive operation. And as we're moving forward to that 911 changeover from the local PD and fire to the regional center, I think it's, personally as a resident, it gives me great comfort to have seen it and understand the level of training that the staff goes through and the level of response. And we're not the first town that they've onboarded. They're also working with several other towns that are coming in. I think it's an exceptionally well-run facility, and I think it's going to be a very positive change for us.
Mr. Wally?
Yeah, and it's gonna save us lots of money.
It's
too.
going to save us quite a bit of money,
Yeah.
and it's going to allow our staff, both on the fire department and the police department side, to be responding to the emergencies instead of having one person being on the switchboard answering the calls.
And the level of details, they have like 8 screens in front of themselves. The level of detail, they have to know for all the different type of events that could happen, from water to fire to safe, I mean, it's just amazing. And we asked them, they spend about 60-70% of their time just training, because these things don't come up all the time.
Correct.
You know, it could be once every 5 years, but when it happens, you have to be right on right away. And I asked the question, how many times has that organization been sued, their particular facility? Have they ever been sued for missing it? They've never been sued once, not one time have they ever been sued. So really an amazing, amazing setup. The training's off the charts. The people they can't even get on the phones till they're there for about 6-7 months getting training. They have to pass. Not everybody passes. They may not have the aptitude for it. And they only put the best people there. And walking into that room with all those screens and the people doing their job was just amazing. So, you know, in an effort, talk about saving money, regionalization, that's a great example of regionalization where we can take advantage of state resources that are actually going to help us out. And the state pays for it entirely. We don't pay a penny for that. So it's really quite an amazing thing. And I think it took 10-11 years, Michael, to get done. It took a long time. And we snuck in. We also, thanks to forward thinking, you got us in before they've kind of shut down the other towns because they're out of capacity right now. So until they grow capacity, other towns are going to have to wait. So, you know, we often don't say thanks, but thanks for doing that, because that actually really worked out quite well.
You know, one thing they do in terms of training, all the staff goes through their standard training of what it takes to answer the phone, but in addition to that, they also go on the ride along with our fire and our police, so they learn the town vernacular, you know, just because on the map, you know, Park Street is called one Park Street. In the town, people might be referring to it as something else, so they go through that extensive training of ride-alongs and learn, you know, how long does it take to go from one spot to another in regular traffic and heavy traffic, what people refer to local landmarks as, so that when someone calls, you know, when you're under duress and you call, you're not gonna say, oh, I'm at such and such address, mile marker. You're gonna say, I'm at town hall, or I'm at the old town hall. So people get that level of information. It's documented so that all the staff across multiple shifts have access to the same information. So it was very informative. It was a great experience.
And for those members that weren't able to make it again, I was heading out to vacation and I expect to avail ourselves of this opportunity. We do have opportunities just to coordinate with the town administrator and the fire chief to get a tour if you wish to. They'll coordinate that, so.
Well worth it.
My intention to go over and take a look at it. So it's,
Yep, and they're welcome, anybody who wants to come back, they're happy to show it up.
It was fun to see. If you ever call 911 and you want to know what happens behind
all
the
right.
scenes.
Just
one more thing, Mr.
Just
Dawson.
one follow-up comment. I think it's really, I understand the slide you're talking about. I also distresses me as well. But I want to point out, administration's job is not necessarily here to set up strategic initiatives. As far as I'm concerned, our future, how we take care of our finances and everything else like that, comes down to the 5 of us. I think we're the ones who are mainly in control and have the responsibility for figuring that out. And at our last objectives meeting, one of the items we had down there was, since sewer coming down from Andover was not going to work, we still have the opportunity to focus on maybe a package treatment plant that would serve most, if not all, of Main Street. That is on the top of my list. That is being in the process right now, being worked on, so we can put a committee together, because that would be our next best opportunity to creating commercial space under Main Street. And we have other towns in the state that have done it. They're having success doing it, and I think we can potentially benefit from that as well. So again, administration's job is to bring to the voters, having to make decisions. They don't always like to have to bring forward the things they have to do, but they have to, including overrides. But it's really up to us to figure out how to solve these problems. And I think if we need to have another objectives meeting, let's do it. But let's keep the responsibility where it belongs. It's with us.
It's my intention again to set up another strategic planning session for us, specifically for the board, the administration, to sit down and do it as we do it annually. And again, what I'd like to do is tailor it and cut it down a bit so that we can focus in on the immediate issues that we have to address, and obviously new growth and revenue enhancement is at the top of the list. And I think that could take up the entire evening.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need to be focusing on right now, because we are, as we stated at town meeting, at a critical juncture. And that one chart that was up there again, at town meeting to show, and the administration is showing us what our trajectory is as far as current level services. Nothing more, nothing less. Level services, what the cost of that's going to be, and what our revenue stream is. So it's incumbent upon us, as you say, to give the administration direction. It's not the other way around. We give the administration the direction as to where we want to go. They need to produce a budget that's within the confines of Proposition 2.5, and then if there's something outside of that, that this board determines, and only this board determines whether an override goes to the voters or not. Nobody else, just the select board. That's who will determine it. So it sits right here.
Yeah. We pay a lot of money, and I figured recommendations are never bad to receive from your administration, and guidance to the select board on. They're really the professionals, right? So pay a lot of money for a town administrator and a town staff and a financial director. I don't think it's out of bounds to request a 5 to 10 year plan to see how we're going to go from this and start making that curve go up. And it might be drastic requests or recommendations, but again, I understand that it comes from us, but recommendations are certainly welcome.
Right, but the thing is, if we're going to operate, as you stated, within the confines of Proposition 2.5, which is the greatest thing since, it's been passed for the taxpayers here, we can't maintain level services. We can't maintain level services within the confines of Proposition 2.5 right now. So when it comes down to suggestions and prioritization of services that are going to be delivered, if something needs to be cut or transformed or regionalized, things like that, it comes from this board. It comes from us.
Let's put it on the agenda.
You know, so it's and again, we do it every budget season, and we're gonna be doing it for our strategic planning sessions, and this board, along with future boards, will be making these determinations as to what's gonna be put forth for the public to consider.
Can't wait.
We have to, by mandate, we have to present a balanced budget, and we do that every year.
Mhm.
And within that, you know, there will be cuts, and there have been cuts,
Mhm.
and there will continue to be cuts, and prioritization of services that we can deliver. And that's what we delivered a message at town meeting, that this is what we're facing right now. We're at this critical juncture, and without new growth, we can't sustain what we have, never mind taking on any new initiatives. And again, we're not alone. Other communities are doing the same thing, so I think you're going to see more talk about regionalization and things of that nature, and sharing of services, which has all been talked about before. But it's getting to the point where it's going to be realized, something has to be done, so nobody's disagreeing. And I think the strategic planning session, again, if we can narrow it down as to what we're going to be focusing on, those types of issues is critical, to give the administration some guidance as to what direction to look in and where we want us to go. So I believe it's going to occur. Any other old or new business, members of the board? Hearing none, thank you. Public comment. Mr. Mack, I knew you wouldn't pass up on the opportunity since you didn't the last time.
Kevin Mackey, 18 Adams Street. Actually, to kind of continue this conversation, at the town meeting on article, I forget the article for the $50,000 commission.
For 9 Mill
On
Street.
Mill Street?
Yes. I think one of the big problems that this town has, and I don't know if it's, you know, is it the town not educating the citizens, is the citizens not wanting to be or finding the time to be educated. But there was one of the residents was speaking who was a real estate person, and it seems like
Mrs. Fitzgerald, right?
Yeah.
Priscilla, yes.
So it seems like how the public sector works is much different than how the
Private.
Correct.
Private.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Lori Ann came in and then explained to her that, you know, you can't just, I guess you have to put out 2 RFPs each time you do something. And it's just, you know, I think that's part of the problem, is the citizens don't understand the whole process. And you can't want everything that nice. And there is no sort of class about each, I mean, you guys have a public meeting about all the articles. But, I mean, I think, 200 people showed up that night? And is it, people don't care, they don't feel engaged, they don't understand what they're gonna vote on, so why should they go? I know there was at least 2 or 3, like there was a volleyball game that night. I think there was a couple other things. So parents may not have been able to go, because they have to decide between go to a town meeting or their child's sport or event. So I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think there's a lot of different reasons why I guess people aren't engaged in the whole process. So I'm not sure what the answer is, but that's my comment.
No, we struggle with it every year, you know, as far as, you know, getting people, what motivates people confounds us at times, you know. Sometimes when we don't think we're gonna get a crowd, we get a crowd, you know, and, yeah, so we have 800 people at one town meeting and 200 at the next. You know, people have the opportunity to exercise their right to vote or choose not to. It's unfortunate.
Maybe
We would prefer the more the merrier, personally.
Maybe we should have a, you know, like a byline in the transcript. Have you ever wondered how this works in public spending, or
did you know?
like kind of like there is a section on this happened in North Reading on this day in 1960s. So if you're a history buff, that's very interesting. But you know, like Priscilla's in real estate, and she's been in real estate for a really long time. She didn't know public sale of property was different, and the process was different, so maybe like a,
But the problem is, you know,
Who's gonna write
on a
it?
specific issue like that, you know,
Right.
how often does it occur, first of all?
fair, but
And again, the rules and regulations governing a municipality selling public land is very different than you and I selling our home or selling a
Right.
piece of real estate, a piece of vacant land or commercial property. Very different. And we have certain steps and hoops that we have to jump through. And the vast majority of the public isn't necessarily interested in the nuances other than get it done.
Right.
So,
maybe we could have, I don't know, just.
but again, we could, you know, have an educational session and
Right,
one
like
person shows up.
like
Five of
when
us are sitting here.
Lorian made that explanation, that was great, because I also didn't know that some of those nuances, so maybe having like, it needs to be almost like a two-way street, like, we need questions to answer, but if we had questions, then maybe we could tap.
I think what we need to do is,
Someone.
just as we have articles like that that are coming forward, we need to be more sensitive as to people's awareness as to what
An
hoops
explanation,
need to be
a
jumped
more
through by the
detailed
community as
explanation.
opposed to this.
Yeah.
And maybe we could do a better job, we certainly could do a better job of communicating in that specific case, you know, what needed to be done on our part, meaning the town's part, to do this, as opposed to, compared to the sale of a commercial piece of real estate or a single-family home, which is very different. And we could have done a better job of explaining that up front, if people were even listening. We do a lot of explaining that people don't listen anyway and then still argue with us at town meeting, but that's okay, that's it, right? But we could do better, we could be more conscious of it. But, yeah. Kevin, go ahead.
Simone, so actually, I was thinking, there actually used to be, on Channel 38, on Sundays, used to have like a half-hour show, like Ask the General Manager. And I don't know if that's something that we can incorporate. Like, maybe someone sends a transcript, or they send an email, and it can be part of the,
TA's report.
yes, thank you. I don't like to public speakings.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just, you know, people.
Channel
have
38 used to have the
questions,
Three
people-
Stooges too.
There's questions on Facebook, you know, people make comments, and then, you know, everyone has a comment, and who knows if it's, you know, if it's actually talking correct information. Where if someone had a question, instead of putting it on Facebook, they could email the TA or someone else, and then that question could be answered maybe during the.
Like, I'll just tag North Reading Town Hall on every question.
Yeah, it's just the research, very good. This is
One thing to bring up, I think these are all great ideas, but we need to back up one little bit. We have a problem in this town with volunteers already, Mr. Mackey. I know that the ideas are good, but what you're asking would add a tremendous amount of time to volunteers. And the thing is,
Even paid
and just to be
administrators.
blunt, everyone who asks for these things, when I say, why don't you run, they run away from me. So I'm just being really honest.
Yeah, the other thing too
I
is.
know, it needs to be said, like, everyone just sugarcoats things all the time, and it's the truth, like,
And again, the resources
that-
of the administration are limited also.
so.
But, you know, we could do a better job on some things, so for sure.
And also, if we do post that, I agree with you, we could put, hey, this is how it works with private versus public sales. One person's gonna say, thank you for the explanation, the other nine gonna say, why? It's because of Massey like this, or O'Leary, or Studo. To the town hall.
Yeah.
You're just doing this to line your own pockets, don't know which pockets, I have no pockets. So,
No,
but that's
you
the
have
point.
pockets, I have no
But
pockets.
it is the truth, right? Again, like, even when Lori Ann made that explanation, the following comment, and you can redo the tape, was, nah, I get what you're saying makes sense, there's something else we're not being told. Is that too direct? I've been told I've been too direct lately, sorry.
I'm
So
sorry,
the thing was-
any other,
You made a comment about the process, is that right?
yes, any-
You made a comment about, there was 3 meetings, but it wasn't, I don't think she was saying that, it,
no, the fact is that there wasn't a clear enough explanation.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
Up
but even
front.
if there was.
That's okay. So the question was certainly legitimate, and from her vantage point, it didn't make a heck of a lot of sense to her, and that's understandable too. We could have done a better job of explaining it.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking in generality, I'm not even talking about that
No.
situation, I'm just talking about sixth year on the board, I mean, that's not the first time that's come up, I mean, that's like time number 100, so.
Yeah. All right, any other public comment? Anybody online?
Not seeing any, no.
All right. Very good.
It's not in town.
Next order of business, review.
Ms. Sumner's always on.
Review board, commission, committee vacancies. So, all of us have been notified and will be notified on a regular basis now by Ani and others that we have vacancies on our boards, committees, and commissions, particularly our liaison assignments. So we need to be cognizant of that, and generally we make the appointments, starting in the beginning weeks of December. So Ani will be reaching out to all of the current members whose terms are expiring, asking them whether or not they have an interest in reapplying for their position, and the liaisons will all be notified. In addition to that, there are other vacancies that are appointments of the town administrator, which I'm sure he's already in contact with them, and they'll be handled in a similar fashion on a timely basis. So, did you want to go through them, or did you just want to?
The board has a policy with regard to review of the work of the candidates for reappointment to boards, and we put this in front of the board to see if there's any feedback that folks want to provide that might differ or cause the process to differ than it normally would occur for reappointments, so that's why I put it on there. We don't need to review each one.
So again, I think you've probably already been getting correspondence, and now I have from Ani, as far as her outreach to the current members of the boards, committees, and commissions, and then some responses back that yes, they do want to be reappointed, or they do not. And then at some point, there'll be a compilation of all of it before the first week of December, so we'll all have an idea as to what our liaison assignments are, and who's up, who's not, who's interested, and who isn't. And then hopefully we'll be able to fill these positions before the end of the year, before they expire. And if we need new members for certain boards, committees, and commissions, we'll be advertising them anyway, looking for additional volunteers. Anything more on that? So again, you've got the whole rundown here, and again, not all of them are appointees of the board, some of them, again, the town administrator also. So just to let you know that they're all on here.
Is Joe Forty still showing up to capital improvement?
Sometimes.
Oh, really? Well.
1 out of 4.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate the truth.
1 out of 4. No, I'm giving you
25% is good.
25%.
Hall of Fame.
Then out of the 25%, half is full.
Yeah.
But still.
I'm just curious.
And again, he's the citizen representative for that particular committee, former member of the board. All right, so we all set on that?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty clear? Okay. Well, we have a couple of appointments to make. Sustainability Committee and Veterans Event Committee. And we have a motion, and the liaisons can make their recommendations. About, let's go with the Sustainability Committee.
Sustainability Committee. Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Jean Osborne and Meredith Burns to the Sustainability Committee as full members for terms to expire December 31st, 2027, and to waive Select Board Policy 3.2, Appointment Procedures.
Second.
The liaison is Mr. Wallner.
Second on that, but you can take it.
You can take it.
Yeah, you got
Second
it.
by Ms. Liston.
Thank you.
You can make a recommendation.
Thank you for recognizing the group's a good group. Jean and Meredith are both associate members right now. There's 2 people that have stepped down, so this is a very natural thing for them to slide into their positions. So I recommend both of them. They've been enthusiastic participants and are delighted to move forward.
Again, Sustainability Committee has done a terrific job over the last few years.
Unbelievable.
Again, when we expanded their role and their mission, it just took off, which is great.
Took off.
They've done a terrific job. On the motion before us, is there any further discussion? Mr. Massey?
Mr. Chairman, waive Select Board Policy 3.2. What does that policy say? I'm just curious.
Mr. Gilberto?
So the reason we put the language in there is because we have 2 associate members who are being recommended to be moved into full membership on the committee without us having advertised for the 30-day period of time. So it's pretty common to have folks go from one to the other, but we want to make clear that we know there's a policy and we are waiving it by making this appointment.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
On the motion before us, any further discussion? Hearing none. Do we need a roll call or just want to?
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call vote. So it's Jean Osborne and Meredith Burns. So roll call vote, Mr. Wallner.
Jean Osborne and Meredith Burns.
Mrs. Moran,
Jean Osborne and Meredith Burns.
Mr. Studo,
Gene Osborne, Meredith Burns.
Mr. Massey,
Gene Osborne and Meredith Burns.
and the chair votes Gina Osborne and Meredith Burns. And we thank them for their associate membership and now their full membership, and just remind them to go get sworn in. That would be great.
Congratulations.
Now, Veterans Event Committee. Mrs. Moran.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Paul W. Sanger to the Veterans Event Committee as an associate member for the term to expire December 31st, 2026. Mr.
Second.
Massey is the liaison.
Oh, okay, that's right.
What's that?
I seconded.
You seconded on that one too, you off on that one? Okay, seconded by Mr. Studo. Mr. Massey.
Mike, Mr. Chairman,
Oh.
Mr. Gilberto.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I think this would also require a waiver of the policy too, for consistency.
Yes, so maybe we should include in the motion and to waive Select Board Policy 3.2, appointment procedures.
Was Paul
And-
a associate member?
It looks like is he intended to be an associate member?
Oh, he
or
will be
regular
an
member?
associate member, I
That's how it's been written here.
Okay, I get it. I'm sorry.
I think either way, we're,
You still
We're
waiting?
not advertising it, so. and so
Yeah,
So wait a second, so Mr. Studo, you've seconded that modified motion, correct?
Yep.
I thought so. Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Sanger, interested in joining the Veterans Event Committee. He seems to know a great deal of people that are on that committee as well. I didn't realize Mr. Sanger was so involved with the seniors here in town, so the seniors and veterans, as you know, kind of mix. And he's excited to join the committee and provide some help.
Terrific.
Good gentleman.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Massey.
Paul Sanger.
Mr. Studo.
Paul Sanger.
Mrs. Moran.
Paul Sanger.
Mr. Wallner.
Paul Sanger?
And the chair votes Paul Sanger. Right. Legal bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for KP Law for the month of August in an amount of $12,517.83 as follows. General, $11,386.83. Labor, $1,096.50. 20 Elm Street, 40B, $34.50. For a total amount of $12,517.83.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Unanimous. Meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, the October 6, 2025 minutes were not in the packet, and I don't think there's a motion for them, but they were on the agenda. They'll have to be brought to you for the next meeting.
Next meeting. Okay. Mrs. Moore.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the September 15th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Abstain.
Mr. Wallner abstained. All right. Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
I know. Okay, next motion.
Oh, you're not going to roll call?
Not on that one. Only on appointments.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the September 29th, 2025 meeting.
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Wallner. Any discussion?
Mr.
Massey.
Chairman, one amendment I want to make is, I believe, Article 8 was discussed within those minutes, and I recused myself from discussions of Article 8 during that specific meeting. So just want to make sure that that recusal is captured.
Let's see. This is 29th.
And in an effort to make sure the commentary is correct, can we punt this meeting minutes to the next meeting?
This is. What's that here?
Could you do, I think you could punt one more meeting.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and note that during the discussion that Mr. Massey recuse yourself, left the room. All right? What's that? That's Article 8?
Article
Yeah, Article 8. Yep. All right, so that'll,
And
Maybe next-
I can rewatch it and send you what I hear I said.
so withdraw your second, withdraw the motion.
Withdraw.
Withdrawing.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate you.
It looks like it's not even in here at all, Mr. Massey. Now that I look at it,
Yeah.
it's pretty noticeably absent.
Yeah. Thank you.
You have to read all
Let's try the next one.
this.
The next one will be,
I think that's it.
motion to adjourn.
Others just come in.
No, we have to read all
Oh,
this.
no, don't, we have this other one, acknowledgement.
And
Right.
TA's
We have
report.
to read the
And the
acknowledgement.
TA's report. Sorry.
If you want.
It's only 10 o'clock. It's early.
All right, so let's see.
Speed read this.
You have the acknowledgement of review and the release of the following executive session minutes somewhere? Right, does she have a motion on that?
It's just needs to be read as it's printed on the back side of the agenda there, that's all. Those have already been voted in a prior executive session, and we need to just report them out publicly.
Nothing. When I was clerk, the first one we did this, it was like 6 pages. I was
Yeah.
here like for an hour by myself. Like I'm filibustering in the Senate.
Everybody left?
So, but no, it is not a motion.
Okay, so I just read it.
Just read what's
Okay.
printed, that's all.
Acknowledgement of review and release the following executive session minutes stated as the purposes of the executive sessions have expired. January 3rd, 2016, exemption 6, Winter Street. January 3rd, 2016, exemption 2, Town Administrator. January 17th, 2017, exemption 3, DPW Union. Acknowledgement of review and release of the following executive session minutes subject to any necessary reductions pursuant to the Public Records Law. December 5th, 2016, exemption 3, SSBC litigation. January 17th, 2016, exemption 3, SSBC litigation. Acknowledgement of review and to continue to withhold the following executive session meeting minutes as the purposes of such executive sessions have not expired and continued non-disclosure is still warranted. November 21st, 2016, exemption 2, non-union. November 21st, 2016,
Yep.
exemption 3, and RAS union. November 21st, 2016, exemption 3, health insurance unions. December 5th, 2016, exemptions 5 and 7. December 19th, 2016, exemption 2, non-union. December 19th, 2016, exemption 3, and RAS union. January 3rd, 2017, exemption 3, and RAS union. January 3rd, 2017, exemption 7, meeting minutes. And January 17th, 2017, exemption 6, Mill Street.
Second.
There's no second, it's just never read.
No, I just have to read it. And then
All right.
there's TA report, and then.
That's right, TA report.
Thank you. I do have a lengthy report this evening, so bear with me.
I saw.
First, I transmitted a copy of a press release that the fire department put out regarding a garage fire on Abbott Road last month. And thank you to the members of the fire department for their efforts to extinguish that fire. Second, I am pleased to report that the Board of Health will be setting up a blood pressure screening station at Town Hall in partnership with the American Heart Association, and I attached a copy of the relevant agreements. Further, I'm pleased to report that the fire department has welcomed firefighter paramedic Ian Helmick, and firefighter EMT Stephen Robichaud. I attached a copy of a notification that went out on that as well. Our snow and ice contractor rates are going to be updated, and so I transmitted a copy of the new rates along with the old rates as well. Pleased to report that the temporary accessible ramp and associated safety and access improvements were completed last week at the Flint Memorial Library. Thank you to the DPW, Police Department, and Flint Memorial Library for their cooperative efforts. Attached was a copy of a notice from the state approving our open space and recreation plan extension through April of 2030. I do want to thank Town Planner Danielle McKnight and the Parks and Recreation staff for their efforts on this. I attached a copy of a recent press release regarding the upcoming transition to Regional 911. We are going to ask the chiefs to come to the next meeting to make a brief presentation here as we head toward a potential transition on or about the week of November 11th. I attached information regarding surplus state land that's located at the town line in Wilmington at 0 Salem Street. It's a small parcel that's west of Martin's Landing on Route 62, located in Wilmington. It was separated from 104 Lowell Road via an approval not required plan prior to the sale of 104 Lowell Road to Pulte. It does look like there could be 10 to 12 units, although the lack of sewer serving the site may be an obstacle. As we look ahead to the holiday season, the HR director, the division heads, and I are working with staff to develop a schedule for evening hours and to plan for the closure of non-emergency services on both Friday, December 26th and Friday, January 2nd. The intention is to offer evening hours on Tuesday, November 18th, as well as Tuesdays, December 2nd, 9th, and 16th. Non-emergency services would be open until 6:30 p.m. on those evenings. A formal announcement will be issued once all the details are worked out. I attached a copy of, we are reviewing a proposal from Mass General Brigham to potentially transition our Medicare plans for the upcoming calendar year. The next step in the process will be to meet with the Insurance Advisory Committee on Thursday, October 23rd to review the potential opportunity as well as any information from our current provider, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Number 11, attached, please find a copy of the Attorney General approval of bylaws recently adopted at town meeting, including both the 3A zoning and the accessory dwelling unit. And number 12, attached is a notice of approval of the town's MBTA 3A zoning district by the State Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. 2 additional items that were not in the written report that I would like to share with you. Number 1, and these are probably very much time sensitive and relevant as we're heading into the tax classification hearing. The assessor and the finance director are working to calculate the potential impact of the senior means tested tax relief program. Right now it's looking like the impact on the rate is likely to be in the pennies in terms of the amount based upon the number of eligible candidate, which I think was in the 20s in terms of those.
26 is what I heard.
Yeah, so we did have some interest. A number of people were eligible for it. I'm saying this because I know that there will be some conversation with regard to that impact at the classification hearing. It is not expected to be significant in terms of the amount, but we don't have a final amount yet because we're still working through the tax rate recapitulation form, which is what spits out the number at us. So that'll get reviewed at the classification hearing, but I want to prepare you that it is coming. As was expected, we are required to shift within the residential levy. You do have the opportunity to potentially go through the classification of the rate, although it may not be necessary based upon the amount if it is in fact a very low amount. But that's a decision that will need to be made at the classification hearing. Excuse me. And then finally, the Fire Station Building Committee has asked me to draft a letter that would go out on its behalf to property owners in the Main Street corridor who may have sites that may be of interest for the committee to potentially be recommended for acquisition if we're not able to find a town-owned site to locate either a satellite or a new main station. So I just want the board to be aware that something that did come up. It's come up a couple times in meetings and something I'll be assisting them with. We'll make sure that the appropriate caveats are in any sort of letter that attempts to generate some outreach. But I don't want anyone to be caught off guard that a letter like that may be going out. Again, we're not making an offer to purchase anything. Right now, the approach would be, are you interested in considering selling to us? So, is that a pretty good summary, Mr. Massey?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Scott. I was just going to thank you for that, and just a little bit more background to the board is the land search committee that was created. We all kind of had our separate locations to contact, and I think what it turned into was, okay, we need to turn these phone calls into something serious, and so we asked the administration to put something in writing to really get the ball rolling.
And so I believe there's going to be a review of that letter at the meeting tomorrow night. I think that's the intention. So just, again, don't want folks to be caught off guard. We won't be offering to buy property, but we are going to be soliciting whether anyone is interested in having a discussion with us about selling.
Great.
Again, to be clear, there's no appropriation authorizing an acquisition at this point either, but just starting with a discussion. That does conclude my 14-item report this evening.
That's it? Wasn't too bad. Just one other comment. Our next meeting's the 3rd?
Correct. And it will be tax classification.
Tax classification, okay.
Yes.
We may want to start the meeting maybe a half an hour later, because that same evening, the school committee is hosting the 10th anniversary of the opening of the high school, middle school, which you may want to attend, and also the celebration of the Chuck Carucci Field commemoration. So we may be starting it a tad later, if you make a note of that. in case
Okay,
I
we can
forget.
talk about
In
it.
case I forget, but I just want to let you know that.
We'll put
in case-
together a draft agenda so we can get that nailed down.
All right, so,
Great.
okay. All right, now the last motion.
Mr.
No,
Chairman,
sorry.
I move to
No,
adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second by Mr. Massey. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous.
You're not gonna roll call that?
No roll call.